What's up, San Diego?
San Diego, turn it up. From the dugout to the sidelines, from the front office to the fan in the stands, this is where San Diego sports comes to be heard.
College athletics is the gift that keeps on giving. This is why I love this stuff.
He's not just talking about the game, he's driving the conversation, breaking it down, calling it out, and saying what everyone else won't.
They start licking their chops, man, when they hear like, oh, look at all these guys the Padres could potentially trade.
This is the voice San Diego sports trusts on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
We're your favorite show's favorite show.
This is the Braden Surprenant Show.
Think about the children, the family show.
Now, here's Braden Surprenant.
What's up, San Diego? A happy Wednesday to everybody out there in America's finest city. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Another example, Frank, yesterday of right but too early. I said Manny Machado would have 2 home runs. You know, this is what I did.
Well, you said he'd have 2 home runs over the course of the weekend.
He had 2 in a day.
Yeah, he had 2.
3 in 2 games.
But I think more importantly, though, we have to acknowledge the elephant in the room here.
We won a game yesterday. And if we win one today, that's 2 in a row. We win one tomorrow, that's called a winning streak. It has happened before.
It has happened before. It's been a while here. I don't know. Are the Padres back? The unfortunate thing is they lost on a catcher's interference on Monday, and they like Monday's game was so frustrating because they didn't play good baseball and they ran themselves into outs and they just didn't take care of the little things, which we have seen from this team time and time again. And then yesterday was more like Sunday, and we've just had too few of those opportunities. I mean, if you look at the last 3 games, I guess they've won 2 out of the last 3, but I mean, they really got to get on some momentum here because they are getting the benefit of the doubt of everybody in the National League right now they're competing with sucks. I watched the Cardinals play. This is what I did yesterday. Aside from texting Frank while he was trying to win a race.
Winning a race.
You were still in the process of trying to win said race, were you not?
I
mean, he led almost every single lap. I got a little nervous there at the end. Frank, last night, it was the final race of the series. When do you start the new one? Does it start back up next week or no?
No,
it's not like softball where you just fire it up. Let's go. We'll see you next week.
No,
that's kind of lame. Frank won the last race of his iRacing series yesterday. And he needed to finish in first, and the guy he was competing with needed to finish in 8th or worse, and he ended up finishing in 2nd. So Frank was, or no, he didn't. He finished 4th, but yeah,
not enough.
Wasn't enough. And the thing is he wrecked with like 3 laps to go on a caution, and I didn't know that they had the supersonic,
the fast repair
nonsense. But everybody gets it, so it's okay. So he got lucked out on that. Also got lucked out that 4 guys at the back of the race wrecked. So he basically needed to finish in last at that point in time, which wasn't going to happen. So, but Frank still won the race. Good moment there. Great interview yesterday.
Thank you.
A lot more stoic than the week before. You got to work on your donuts a little bit, but other than that, it was a great little race. Why do you have a team or something? Are there people like playing the pit crew? Because you kept saying we. You got a mouse in your pocket? I mean, it's just you, buddy. Like everybody says we in these interviews. It's just you racing. I know it's like an imaginary team. What are you saying we for?
It's called immersion, dude. Don't mess up my immersion. All right.
Are you LARPing?
Yes, that is more or less what you could call that. Yes, that is pure LARPing.
So as Frank was LARPing last night on his iRacing, which he won. You know what? Why? I gotta ask this though.
That wasn't just a win. That was belt to butt.
Yeah, I was belt to ass the whole time. I don't think. Would you you led all but 10 laps?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they were kissing your ass on the broadcast. Would you pay those guys?
No.
I want to know why you were taking the outside track the whole time. Is that where the faster lane was?
I took it in Miami. I took it at the start. The way the tire works there. You either run the bottom and save the tire and use the outside like when you need it sparingly, Or you just commit to the outside, because if you run the outside there, it wears the right front tire out so much that you can't get back down to run the bottom. So it's one or the other, really. The first stint, I just wanted to get away from everyone, because I know I need to lead as many laps as possible. Right. So I was just trying to get away from everyone, wore the tire out, and I learned my lesson very quick, and I was on the bottom pretty much the rest of the race from there.
I mean, every interview, well, we had 4 clean tires here. We had this, we had that. I forgot, you know what? My apologies. I forgot Cole Brooks was there holding the gas can, smoking a lung dart. And I forgot that Trav Gundy's on the crew, is the crew chief. So
you know what? I noticed that.
I forgot about that.
I noticed that. Cole, probably not the best time to have a cigarette when you're trying to gas a car up.
But you know what?
Not the best time.
That's some old school NASCAR right there. That's some like 1980s NASCAR right there.
Well, no, if it was 1980s NASCAR, I would have been the one smoking. But that's a true story, by the way. Dick Trickle used to have a pack of cigarettes and a lighter in his car.
See, I also I saw a handful of people from the chat out there watching it too on the YouTube. It was great. So, you race again tomorrow? For the O'Reilly? Is that the finish?
Yeah, I'm not in the championship hunt there. That's just going strictly for a win.
All right, yeah, go for a win. Go ruin somebody's day who's trying to win.
That's the plan.
And then after that, you have a break?
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't know how long the break is, but yeah.
Is it just the same people in the same league, or you just get picked up into different leagues?
No, it'll be mostly the same people. We're going to try to recruit some more people in to race with us. And yeah.
Wow, get Trav Gundy on the call. Get him in a car. All right, enough of that. But while Frank was doing that, and I was texting him and then realized that he was in the middle of a race. And then I looked up and saw that he was winning said race. I then stopped sending him my Padres takes about yesterday. I just sent him to Adam at that point. I played the reverse card. He's usually the one texting us all the time in game, watching the Padres. I went, ha! You're going to listen to my nonsense now. But anyway, like yesterday, I like the way the lineup was. I like the way that, obviously the Padres played extremely well. And yesterday was, it was the situation of, this is what the offseason plan was. This is what they needed them to do last year. This is what they have needed these guys to do for most of this season. And that is, the 4 guys that they give the biggest contracts to need to produce. And you know what? For the first time all year, you saw 3 of those guys do it. Xander got a hit down the line. That's great. Okay, but Manny Machado with 2 home runs. Fernando hit a home run. Jackson Merrill hit a home run. 3 of your 4 stars homered in last night's game. The offense was explosive. They put up 8 runs. They put up 19 runs on Sunday. They are putting up numbers yesterday, and when over the last couple of games or so. That's what makes Monday so frustrating. That's what makes last Friday so frustrating, and that's been the epitome of this team. They have had these good wins, and they just can't compile them together to get what Lou said as a winning streak, because they get these clunkers mixed in, or they don't play very well, or things don't go their way. So the Padres win last night. I thought Walker Buehler pitched great. He kept the game close, obviously. He hunkered down. It would be nice for any of these guys to get you 6 innings. I just don't know if that's ever going to happen at this point in time. But Walker Buehler, he had his 5 2/3 innings. Only gave up the 2 runs, 2 hits, 3 strikeouts. The 5 walks need to be fixed, but it looked a lot more like June Walker Buehler than it did July Walker Buehler, which is great to see. And he's going against a really good lineup. Let's not pretend like he just mowed down the Colorado Rockies. That Atlanta Braves lineup's pretty good. So collectively, a really good win. Fernando Tatis Jr. Where's all the like he can't hit the ball over the fence anymore crowd? Where's all the he's lost all his power? What is that? Just like a lucky hit? He hit the ball 474 feet. I thought he couldn't do that anymore, Frank. I thought you only do that when he was only doing the PEDs. You can't hit the ball over the fence anymore. Give me a break. We talked about swing speed forever. We talked about how he had been working on his swing, and you know what? He's starting to find it. Manny Machado's starting to find it. That's why I tweeted it out last night. I was somewhat joking and somewhat being serious. We heard about the offseason for Fernando, trying to be this like hitter and appease his dad and all that stuff. We heard about Manny Machado hitting with Teacher Man. And you know what both of those guys did at the beginning of the season, Frank? They were terrible. And now they're starting to really hit their stride. Manny's got 22 home runs. I tweeted this out yesterday too. I was just trying to do a little bit of math. I had it double checked before I, tweeted it out because, tweeting out math is just as bad as doing math on the air. Never tweet out math. But I tweeted out yesterday. Manny Machado has now played in 98 games this season out of a total of 101. He has hit 22 home runs. And if he keeps this pace, he'll play about 157 games this season, which also puts him on pace for about 34 to 35 homers, which is 2 off of what? His career high of 37, which he has accomplished twice. 37 home runs. He is on pace for 34 to 35 home runs. Look, I don't think Manny has had that great of a season. I know the average isn't something that you are 100% worried about in this day and age. His OPS hasn't been very great. I mean, I don't think a lot of people could sit here and be like, you know what? Manny Machado's just had such a great year. But he has been great defensively, and he has put the ball over the fence. Honestly, it's amazing the amount of home runs that he has put up this year. Because let me ask you this, Frank. If I told you on March 2nd, in the middle of spring training, that Manny Machado by the trade deadline, which we all knew was August 3rd at the time, was going to have at least 22 home runs, what would you have said?
He must be hitting 280.
I would think he's on a tear, first of all, like you said. And I would think the Padres are 10 games above 500 minimum. I thought, for how many times we heard the way Manny goes, this team goes. Mm-hmm. 22 home runs. I mean, that's a sneaky 22 based on how the Padres have played and based on how Manny has hit this year. I mean, when I saw the first one, I'm like 21 home runs. I mean, I knew he was up to over 20 already, and just every time he hits one, I'm just like, this is amazing. I mean, Manny took that swing on 3-0. He didn't care. I mean, he was like, I'm crushing this ball. I mean, this is my pitch. This is gone.
I'm feeling good. You take it when you're feeling good.
He's going to get to 30, right?
100%.
Does he get to 35? He's on pace for 34, 35 home runs. I still think like 37 is like way out of reach. But I bring this up because Adam yesterday texted me. He was like, what's Manny's career number? I was like 37. He's like, I don't know if he could reach that. But the fact that thought popped up in his mind tells you just what kind of a tear Manny's been on in terms of power numbers.
Yeah, he hit 35 in 2015, 37 in 2016.
He's never hit 37 in the Padres uniform.
Followed that up with 33, and then in 2018, when he was traded to LA, he hit 37. He hit 24 with Baltimore and 13 with LA that year. And then followed it up with 32 for the Padres in 2019.
Right. In a Padres uniform, the most as he has hit is 32, and he's done it twice. He did it in 2022, and he did it in 2019, his first year.
His career low in a Padre uniform, discounting 2020, is 27.
Which was last year.
Yep.
He's still an all-star last year, hit 275. I mean, this what goes to show, like...
And even in 2020, he hit 16.
Yeah, he hit 16 in 60 games. I mean, what do you think? What is that pace? I mean, 16. He played all 60 games that year too, which is not surprising. That's a big reason why you sign a guy like Manny, because he posts. But he was on pace that year for 43 home runs. Did you know that?
That's
in a full one. Like, I don't know if he would have played a full 162. He has only done that. He's done it twice in his career.
It's pretty.
But he was on pace for 43 home runs in 2020. But Manny putting up the power numbers. It's amazing he's hitting 204 right now. I mean, he is just like Kyle Schwarber right now. You might as well bat Manny leadoff. Just have him hit the home run like Kyle Schwarber does. But I brought this up to bring up what I tweeted out yesterday, that I was being a little funny, but a little serious at the same time. You know, like Manny and Fernando, they talked about the offseason. They started the season off poor. All of a sudden, they've made the mechanical switches, and now they're hitting the ball over the fence, and now they're hitting at a higher level. Now they're hitting at a higher clip. Is anybody give Steven Souza Jr. credit on that? Got to duck out of the way before people start throwing things at me. Anybody give him credit? I literally tweeted that out yesterday. Hey, maybe Souza got Manny and Fernando back on track after the offseason programs. Ducks. Anybody want to give him credit for it? No, it's just them. So the only reason like they are bad is because of Souza, and the only reason why they're good is because they're themselves. They wouldn't fix everything themselves. I'm just saying, like, Manny and Fernando, we saw them working tirelessly with Steven Souza Jr. at the beginning of the season, to the point we weren't allowed to film one of their practice sessions, right? Tirelessly working with Steven Souza Jr. After an offseason, they worked with somebody else, most notably Manny, right? And so when you work for an offseason with somebody and then you play like crap for the beginning part of the year, and then you work with your hitting coach in season and you're starting to turn things around. Look, if we're gonna blame him for everything that has gone wrong with the offense, and the offense is not the greatest, I mean, wouldn't you have to give him a little bit of credit for some of these guys? Just a little bit.
Give credit where credit is due.
I feel like he's working with these guys, and this is not like a report. We are watching. Frank and I have physically seen the in-depth work of Souza with Fernando and Manny, specifically what they were doing 2 to 3 months ago. It takes time to apply that, and now you're seeing these guys hit the ball over the fence. I mean, we could go look at the numbers. I'm sure Baseball Reference can pull up these numbers about where they rank everywhere since a certain date. I'm sure Fangraphs does that.
And that's another thing that we discussed when that report came out about Manny and his offseason program, is that one of the things he said in there was he's trying to unlearn a lot of the bad habits he picked up from that training. That does, when you put so much effort, so much time into doing something a certain way, and then you go to make the change back because, this isn't really working, that takes time. When you're intently trying to do something on purpose every single time that's different from what you naturally do, that's going to take some time to break out of, because you're so ingrained on doing it that now you have to untrain yourself to not do it.
They look like they've done that. But we have to take a break. I'm not going to sit here and say, like, after winning 2 out of the last 3 games, like, this team is back to what they should be. Go buy a bunch of players. Let's get after this thing. This team is going to be able to win in the postseason. It's more of the stars are finally starring, but it might be too little too late. We'll see what happens the next couple of days, but this is going to get interesting here. And it's getting more interesting because the National League right now sucks. And I sat down and watched some of these games after the Padres game was over. These teams suck. We'll talk more about that when we come back, and what the Padres offense has done as a team since Fernando hit his first home run. Braden, Surprenant Show, Static Summer Sports Station 97 through the Fan.
Would the SEC actually leave the NCAA? That idea sounded impossible a few years ago, but SEC Commissioner Greg Sankey says the conversations are real. The SEC is frustrated with inconsistent NIL rules, transfer portal enforcement, and the overall direction of college athletics. While Sankey says the conference still prefers competing for a national championship under one governing body, he warned that unless the NCAA becomes more consistent, those discussions will continue. I don't necessarily think a breakaway would be good for college football. Sport is at its best when every conference competes for one national championship. The NCAA does need improvement, but splitting college football into separate systems could create an even bigger problem. So the big question is, do you think the SEC should stay with the NCAA, or is it time for college football's biggest conference to go on its own way? I don't necessarily know if that even works out for the SEC. I mean, I think they continue to puff their chest out and say, we're going to leave, but I don't think they have the leverage they think they have, because I don't know if they become their own little league and it just becomes like a semi-pro football league. Does anybody really care? I mean, if they just become the XFL, right? Like, does anybody really care about what they're doing? I just think this could be catastrophically bad for the SEC on top of the NCAA. But if I had to pick one side that was going to survive the most, I would pick the rest of college athletics over just one conference that thinks that they could do everything by themselves.
Yeah, and this is all coming through SEC Media Days, as Greg Sankey, SEC commissioner, did not shy away from one of the biggest questions at SEC Media Day when asked whether discussions about the SEC separating from the NCAA were simply a negotiation tactic. Sankey straightforward answered, "They're real." According to Sankey, the conversation stemmed from growing frustration over how college athletics is currently being managed, not an attempt to gain leverage. The SEC believes inconsistent enforcement of eligibility rules, NIL regulations, tampering investigations, and the implement of the House settlement have created uncertainty across not just college football, but college athletics as a whole. While Sankey emphasized that the SEC still values competing for a national championship under one governing body, he also warned that if the NCAA can't provide consistent leadership, conversations about alternative models will only continue. And I can't help but agree that at least the reasons why he would break away are good. They're worthy. I'm more aligned with you that if the SEC were to break away from the NCAA, that doesn't really help anybody.
I don't think it does at all. I don't think they hold the leverage that they think they do. And on top of that, I especially don't when Congress is trying to fix a lot of the problems that the NCAA has, but in doing so, wants to make sure everybody is accountable and held to the same standard. And the SEC, the Big Ten want to be, they want to have their separate rules, right? They don't like the fact that conference realignment is capped. Right? Like Congress doesn't want to have these super conferences in college athletics, and they're trying to put a damper on that. They're trying to pool the media rights together. They're trying to make everything uniform in college athletics, but the Big Ten and the SEC still want to be the big dog and get all the money to themselves. And they still want to be a big reason why the NCAA has a lot of problems. So I find a lot of this to be eyewash, that they want the best for college, whatever. They want the best for themselves, and they're not willing to sacrifice for the betterment of the sport, which I find too many organizations across the board are doing. And I can even talk about the high school stuff here in town about how individuals are holding back progress in San Diego when it comes to the betterment of high school football. And the SEC, and I think the Big Ten, are holding back for the betterment of college football. And they're trying to, be the holier than thou. But I mean, I don't think they're actually going to leave. I know the NCAA faces a lot of pressure right now that they have to fix a lot of the things that they need to fix, need help with the government. And if the SEC and the Big Ten are going to drag their feet the whole way, it's, say what you want about wanting all these things fixed, but you have to do your part too.
Yep.
And that's where I kind of lose it. And that goes into the playoff expansion conversation, which is the next topic. I mean, obviously that isn't a done deal. The SEC is holding back again because they only look out for themselves, which I guess is their right, but for the betterment of college athletics, which I think everybody would benefit from an expanded playoff and really centralizing a lot of the rules. The SEC doesn't want to go to 24 teams like everybody else does. They want to be able to control who's in the playoff. They want the easiest path. They want the most money. I whatever they decide to get, whatever they need to get sweetened on to change this. I find everything coming out of SEC Media Days going, we're the greatest thing that's ever happened to college athletics. You should just do what we say.
And again, he's harping on the same ridiculous talking points of whether fans and television partners truly want a larger playoff and whether adding more games would negatively impact the regular season, which it would not. Sankey also raised concerns about the academic calendar, player health, scheduling logistics, and whether expanding again so quickly.
I think Frank is pranking me. I legitimately think this sometimes. I can't believe how much Frankie One-Off is one-off all the time. I can't honestly believe it. And I know people driving around, I know people listening to the show on YouTube, watching the show on YouTube, are not going to believe me. I don't know how you do this, Frank.
I don't know either, because I do not know Fangraphs at all. Like, I do not know how to navigate Fangraphs, period. And I'm too lazy to learn.
It's pretty easy.
No,
dude.
I understand that. But you get all of this information off of Fangraphs. So you're using a website that I am too lazy to figure out how to use. And I'm just that, I don't know if it's that good or that bad.
I think it's that good, to be honest with you. I think it's the context. You are the best at being one off something.
I had 2 questions yesterday. I had 2 questions during the break, and I was one off on both of them.
I asked, and this is where we're going to get to on this, because I think this is important. I mean, regardless of what the Padres offense does, they were so bad for the first 2 months of the year. Essentially, they were so bad from opening day to about Fernando hitting his first home run that no matter what they do, they're going to be in the bottom tier of an offense, period. So just based on averages and math. I want to know what's been going on more recently, because I think that's more valuable than what happened in the first 2 months of the year. Is this offense like it was the first 2 months of the year? No, it's not. It's not, for a lot of reasons. So, because the morning show was talking about this, and the offense has drastically improved, but I'm looking at it right now, and I asked Frank, I said, if you can tell me what the Padres offense ranks in Major League Baseball since Fernando Tatis Jr. hit his first home run, where would they rank? And this is just based on like team WAR on Fangraphs. Like, are they what level offense are they in Major League Baseball since Fernando hit his first home run? I asked Frank, where do you think the Padres are at? Frank said ninth. They were 8th. And I honestly thought he was cheating. I honestly thought he had already looked it up. It was so ridiculous. And then I asked him, well, who are the 5 worst teams?
You want to know what's even worse?
What?
My second guess would have been 7th.
So then I asked him, maybe the 5 worst teams since Fernando hit his first home run offensively in Major League Baseball. It's significant to me because I think, 3 of the teams are competing for a playoff spot right now.
Which is 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30.
Correct. That would be the bottom 5. He said the Angels, who are 25th. Yep. 2 for 2. It's honestly remarkable. I used to believe you were cheating. Now I'm convinced that this is not actually a bit. This is just who you are. It's honestly impressive. That's just as impressive as getting it right all the time.
It's not Houdini. It's whodunit.
You are consistently one off every single time. All right. This is where I want to get with this. I made it easy for you, Frank. I copied the link and put it into the
thank you.
sheet so you can now play around with Fangraphs if you wanted to. Okay, so now you go on that list. It should be exactly how it was. Okay, so you can see that the Padres are 8th on that list and all that other stuff. Okay, cool. You could sort that. If you scroll up to the top, Frank, since we're going to teach you how to use Fangraphs, you could control the dates and all that, all those filters. Super easy. So now you can figure that part out. All right. Before Fernando hit his first home run,
I'm not going to touch it because I don't want to break it.
You can break it. It's fine. I have it. I have it pulled up over here. It's not like I'm using your computer. Since Fernando's first home run on May 30th, the Padres are the 8th best offense in Major League Baseball. Before that point, they were the 26th best offense in Major League Baseball. So they have obviously cranked it up. Okay. Now, when you start comparing a lot of these numbers, I mean, the Padres are near the top on a lot. You start looking at, I don't think they're going to be top 10 in home runs, even though it seems like that. I mean, Manny's got 22 home runs. But they are, in home runs, they're 19th. Runs scored, there's no way they're going to be that high based on some of the games. Maybe it was. They're 22nd in RBIs. I'm more interested in like the average on base slug, all that stuff, see where they're at as an offense. But the fact that the WAR says that they're top 8, they got to be like near that in a lot of different things. 20th in average, which is way up from what they were beforehand. The Padres, before that point, were hitting 219. They have now moved their average up to 243, which is a lot better.
13th on base and 21st in slugging.
They're 17th in WRC plus. Why are they getting so much better all of a sudden on the as a defense or something like that? I mean, their offense like ranks out to be like 13th.
I think they were like second in baseball in least amount of errors committed. So like that's defense.
There it is.
Padre defense has been really good.
They have the third best defense in all of baseball.
There you go.
The Cubs have the best defense in all of baseball. Offensively, the Padres offense is top 13, but in terms of like overall team WAR from a position player standpoint, the Padres are 8th during that time. You could go over to, the pitching staff has kind of hurt them a lot. The beginning of the season, the pitching staff wasn't too bad. The Padres were the 7th best pitching staff at the beginning of the season, but then you flip things around a little bit since Fernando, because since Fernando hit that home run, the offense has been a lot better. Over that same time, the Padres pitching staff was 7th in Major League Baseball. It is now dropped to, I can't find them now. They have now dropped to 25th. They have basically flipped their offense and their pitching staff in the span since Fernando hit that home run in Washington, which is pretty remarkable, to be honest. So the point of this exercise to me was, for everybody that said like, well, you don't have a top 10 offense. I want to view it more of like what has happened more recently based on what the Padres have been able to do. But honestly, it doesn't surprise me that the Padres are around 500 with one part of the season, the pitching dominating and the offense being one of the worst, and one part of the season where the offense has been dominating and the pitching staff has been one of the worst. It kind of balances out to about 500, Frank.
Yeah, it does.
So the offense has obviously improved. It's gotten a lot better. The pitching staff could use a little bit of an uptick, and hopefully they could get some of these pitchers back, like Nick Pivetta, like Joe Musgrove in particular. If you get outings again like Walker Buehler had, I think that really helps you in the long run. But you look at the standings, and this is where I got to this earlier this morning. The Padres are 2 games out. They're 2 games out of a wild card spot as of right now, and they're 2-3 in these 5 games since the All-Star break. I mean, it's not like they're playing incredible baseball right now. Like last night was good, Sunday was good. They're playing a lot better than they have in the past, but they're 2 games out, and it's because, and I'm watching these teams play last night. I put the Nationals-Rockies game on. I mean, that Nationals team can't get anybody out. They can't get anybody out. I watched the Marlins play the Astros. I mean, the Marlins turned a triple play last night. Must be nice having Jose Altuve hit the ball and play. But you look at
Bless you.
You look at the teams that are in front of you right now. The only team I would be a little bit concerned about is Pittsburgh because they got a good starting rotation. But Arizona has had one of the worst offenses in baseball since May 30th, and their pitching staff isn't good. St. Louis looks awful right now against the Angels, who they play again today, and then they will play Arizona tomorrow in a makeup game. Miami has now lost 8 straight games. They don't have the horses to keep this thing up or to flip it back in the right direction after they had a great run. And the Nationals have no pitching. As much as the Padres have no pitching, the Nationals have no pitching. And the Nationals pitching is worse than the Padres pitching. So despite all of this happening, Frank, they are failing upward right now. And this thing is right there for the taking for the Padres. With a couple of wins in a row, all of a sudden, they could be in the driver's seat for a playoff spot, which is remarkable considering the circumstances of how bad they've played all year.
And you know what that is?
That's baseball, Susan.
That is baseball. This is why you can't have all these hot takes in the middle of the season. Can't write teams off. I mean, everybody thought Miami was a team that, like, foregone conclusion. They're going to buy. They got to stay in this position. It's great. People are writing off the Red Sox. The Red Sox trying to win their 15th straight game. I mean, that team, we watched that team play at the beginning of the year. They looked terrible. They looked terrible for most of the year. I mean, they fired their entire coaching staff in April, and everybody's like, when's the general manager or the president of baseball going to just get fired? This is ridiculous. They're going for win number 15 right now as they get started up against Baltimore. Seattle is awful. I mean, Seattle was in the ALCS last year. Toronto, ALCS last year. They're 6 games out of a playoff spot.
And Pittsburgh,
they've lost 3 straight.
And Pittsburgh's got a tough task ahead of them today. They got Garrett Cole in game 1, and they're facing Max Fried in game 2.
Good. I hope they get their ass kicked.
Game 2 is a very good pitching matchup. It's Bubba Chandler versus Max Fried.
Bubba Chandler with a 4-something ERA. 833-288-973, 833-288-973. We'll talk more about the game last night when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show. San Diego Sports Station 97 to the Fan.
MLB trade deadline is less than 2 weeks away, and some fascinating trade ideas are starting to surface. One proposal has the Padres acquiring Freddie Peralta from the Mets in exchange for a top pitching prospect in Cash Mayfield. It's exactly the kind of buy low move A.J. Preller has made before. I don't honestly know if it's buying low, though, with a guy like Cash Mayfield. But a veteran pitcher with ace potential, whose value has dropped. Other ideas include George Kirby heading to San Francisco, Hunter Goodman joining the Red Sox, Michael Wacha helping the Cubs playoff push, Luisa Rise giving the Rangers another elite contact bat. Biggest lesson, championships aren't always won by landing the biggest superstar. They're often won by finding the player everyone else gives up on, or finding the right mix of players like Atlanta did back in 2021. As August 3rd gets closer, I would imagine this report becomes less and less accurate, if you will, as the days go on because of all the crazy things that could potentially happen in trades. But trade season is officially here. Jim Bowden put out some ideas, the trades he would like to see. Number 1, Mariners shaking up the rotation as it sends George Kirby from Seattle to the Giants in return. Versatile infielder Casey Schmidt from San Diego State and left-handed reliever Eric Miller. For Seattle, it solves 2 needs immediately. They had a right-handed bat, destroys left-handed pitching while also striking their bullpen. For San Francisco, they replaced Robbie Ray if he's moved immediately, and immediately paired George Kirby with Logan Webb to create one of the better 1-2 punches in the National League. It's bold. It makes some baseball sense. Interesting trade idea from Jim Bowden, Frank.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, interesting to find George Kirby getting traded. But yeah, for Casey Schmidt, who's a versatile infielder, as you mentioned, another guy that Seattle can use, plus a bullpen arm for a team that has been so up and down this year. We talk about how the Padres have been up and down. Seattle has been just as bad, if not worse, than the Padres have been on that roller coaster. So that would be a nice little trade to kind of hope to level Seattle out a little bit.
Trade idea number 2, according to Jim Bowden. Red Sox go all in. Boston, been searching for offense all season. Proposal lands them one of the best young catchers in baseball, maybe Hunter Goodman from Colorado.
Yeah, the cost would be a massive prospect package highlighted by Marcelo Mayer, along with pitching prospects and catcher Carlos Narvaez. The Rockies would essentially be betting on 4 long-term pieces instead of 1 all-star catcher. Boston would be betting that Goodman becomes the middle-of-the-order bat they have desperately needed for the last few years now, and sometimes you have to give up a premium in order to acquire that talent. Interesting that it would take Marcelo Mayer to get that done, and I think it will have to.
The one that they proposed for the Padres would be with the Mets. No better combo to talk about it than me and you. I don't necessarily know I like this at all. I don't think the Padres are in a position to do this, but according to Jim Bowden, a trade he'd like to see, Padres acquire Freddie Peralta for the Mets, who's a rental, and the Padres would send one of their top pitching prospects in Cash Mayfield back to New York. I mean, I you could go through the gamble that this could potentially be. The Padres, to me, cannot be trading for rentals. I think they need to be trading for the future. If they decide to buy at the trade deadline, I don't think they can give up a guy like Cash Mayfield, but if they did, it would be for a starting pitcher that they had years of control over. And I think the same thing goes with any of their top prospects. I mean, I don't think they could trade Ethan Salas unless it leads to a Shea Langoliers or something like that, where you turn the current prospect into what they could potentially be and you expedite the process to now. Other than that, I don't really like ideas like this of trading for a rental just for one guy. And if you have to give up a Cash Mayfield for this, I don't think it's going to pay dividends for the Padres in the long run.
If it was 2024, I would do this. But with the
2022, 2024,
exactly.
Any of the years that you're like one piece away, Padres are not.
In this situation, absolutely not. This is not something I would do for Peralta. His ERA is inflated this year. Cash Mayfield, from the Met perspective, isn't really quite ready yet. It's going to be a couple years, so you're still waiting on that. And now it looks like the Mets are going to ship Freddie Peralta back to Milwaukee, which for Jet Mayfield and Brandon Sproat, I'd do it.
Cubs continue to search for starting pitching. Michael Wacha could be an opportunity for the Chicago Cubs. I think the Cubs definitely need starting pitching. I don't know how they've been able to survive without it so far, but with so many devastating injuries for them in the starting rotation, I think Michael Wacha is perfect. He's having a really good year for Kansas.
Yeah, and the suggestion would be to give up former top prospect Matt Shaw, as well as Kevin Alcantara. So an infielder, two infielders there. It is expensive. But with the situation that the Cubs find themselves in and how desperate they are for starting pitching, to get a guy like Michael Wacha, who we've seen just recently, that would be a pretty penny that Kansas City can ask for, especially with how desperate Chicago is.
Texas needing a pure hitter. How about Luis Arraez going to Texas? That's not a bad move for Texas, and I don't think they need to add too much to be, I don't know, division winners. The division is terrible. Adding a Luis Arraez might be just the pure contact that they're looking for in that lineup.
Yeah, few hitters in baseball control the strike zone better. Even still, Texas desperately needs someone to create traffic on the bases, and Arraez may be that person to do it. Sometimes smartest deadline edition isn't the flash,
but it just constantly goes out. Constantly. All right, so we talked about like the offense from Fernando's first home run of the year through today. What about the last month, if you will? If you go, and this is not obviously the last 30 days, but if you go June 22nd to July 22nd in terms of the offense for the Padres, it is a top 10 offense in Major League Baseball. I know it's just the last month, but that is showing that this team is starting to turn things around. And I think it was so bad at the beginning. That's why you're not seeing those numbers obviously move too much in the overall year. But if you look at the month of July, the Padres have they're a top 5 offense in baseball in the month of July. Now, the month of July has an entire week off in the between, so it's not that too many games. So if you go June 22nd to July 22nd, last month or so of offense, here's the numbers that you get. So the San Diego Padres, if you just rank the offense, are the 5th best offense according to Fangraphs in the last month. Washington, Pittsburgh, Chicago, Miami, Padres. It's the best 5 offenses in baseball. If you factor in their defense, because their defense is good, they're the 4th best team and they've played the 4th best in terms of WAR since June 22nd. It would be nice if there was wins involved with that, though. Kind of takes away from the whole wins above replacement deal, and I know that's not what that means, but anyway, the Padres have played in 25 games since June 22nd, so it's about close to a month worth of games. The Padres in the ranks, they're 13th in home runs in the last month. They are 10th in runs scored.
They are 10th in runs batted in. They are 4th in stolen bases. The one that's interesting to me, this is the one I like the most. They have the 3rd best walk rate in all of Major League Baseball in the last month. I want to say that again. They have the 3rd best walk rate in baseball in the last month. 10.7% walk rate. What about strikeouts? They've been striking out a ton all year. They have the 4th best strikeout percentage in the last month. 19.9%. Only the Rays, Diamondbacks, and Blue Jays have done better. Their isolated power number is 11th best in baseball. Their batting average on balls in play, 14th best in baseball. Their team average is 8th best in Major League Baseball in the last month. Their on-base percentage is 3rd best in Major League Baseball. Their slugging percentage, 9th best in Major League Baseball in the last month. Their weighted on-base average is 6th best. Their expected weighted on-base average is 3rd best in Major League Baseball, behind just Washington and Boston. Their weighted runs created plus is 7th best in Major League Baseball. Their base running runs above average, which includes stolen bases or caught stealing, 4th best in Major League Baseball. Their offense, as I mentioned before, batting and base running combined above average is 5th best in Major League Baseball. Their defense, which is their fielding and positional adjustment combined above average in the last month, 4th best in baseball, which gives them a team WAR of a 6, which is also 4th best in Major League Baseball. I mean, I went through all of that, Frank. I mean, obviously that's a lot of data, but how do you interpret that data? They're playing a lot better offensively. Your eyes do not deceive you. They are getting back on track. It might have been a little too late. They got to find ways to win. But offensively, this is the offense that I think that they wanted to establish at the beginning of the year that took them a little bit to get going. But I think it's finally here. And they have now shown signs of being able to do this over a course of 25 games. They're not doing it every single night, but they're doing it a lot more often than they were before.
Yeah, the offense has certainly picked up its end. And unfortunately, it's still the effects from the beginning of the season that's wearing on the pitching staff, which is where you're losing these games and where you're really finding yourselves in a lot of trouble. The offense now is starting to play its part. It's starting to do it. Now, there are guys, and we'll talk about it a little bit later on in the show, but a lot of Xander's struggles this year have been hidden behind. First, it's Manny, Fernando not being able to hit a home run, Manny hitting under 180 for most of the year, and Jackson Merrill also having his struggles and kind of being hidden behind the first two as well. But this Padre offense for sure has started to turn a corner as far as what it was to what it is, which again is just another reason why you have hope for a playoff push. And I think now if you can get the pitching to somewhat resemble what it was back in April and May, you will, I think a playoff push is inevitable with this team.
There's a time and a place like for WAR and stuff like that. And like, when to use it, when not. I think it's good when you're trying to evaluate players over a long-term deal. Do you know that, who's got the 3rd highest WAR on this team?
Probably Xander.
It's Xander.
Yeah, because of his
his defense. That's why like defense is so valued sometimes. But Ty France is the highest WAR on the team with a 2.6. Then Fernando, the 1.7. Luis Camposano and Xander Bogaerts, both with the 1.1. By the way, it's only been 30 games. I'd like to see this more out of Luis Camposano, but if he could put together a lot more numbers like that, it's great to have him part of this organization. I mean, I don't know how Xander Bogaerts has a higher WAR than Manny.
It's his defense.
Yeah, but Manny's outs above replacement are like elite. It's not like Manny's booting the ball all over the place.
It's his like I told you off air before the show started, because defense is also weighed into WAR, shortstop is usually the defensive player that gets a vast majority of the defensive plays. So that's going to help. And I think Manny has been so bad on offense. It's either home run or literally nothing, or at least that's what it was at the beginning of the season. I think his offense is really keeping his number way lower than what it probably should be.
He gets the positional adjustment is what it's called. So he gets the positional adjustment for playing a shortstop. So shortstops naturally will have a higher WAR than a lot of other players. So Xander Bogaerts playing shortstop will naturally make him a better player. I think that's why Ha-Seong Kim for so long had always had a high WAR. But at the same time, it's like, do you really want that guy in the offense? I mean, Manny's offense hasn't been very good, but it's still like close to beating Xander in almost every category. He's only off by 16 percentage points on the average. He's off by like relatively the same on base. He beats him in slugging. He beats him in OPS. His OPS plus is finally back to an average player because of the home runs. I mean, the 22 home runs and 9 home runs is crazy. Way more RBIs. I just find that interesting. So we talked about what the Padres have done in the last month. Offensively, they're a top 10 offense. In some categories, they're a top 5 offense in the last month. That's comparing them to Major League Baseball. So your eyes don't deceive you. The offense is doing its job. Pitching wise, though, this is why it hasn't equated to wins. Strikeout per 9, the Padres 24th in Major League Baseball. Walks per 9, Padres 27th. The Padres are averaging 3.9 walks a game. Only Kansas City, Lasso, Clemente, and Houston are worse than the Padres in the last month. Home runs per 9, 24th. Opponent's batting average on balls in play, 18th. I think that's the left on base percentage, like stranding runners. Padres are 24th. Ground ball percentage for the Padres. Not that this really matters because you either have ground ball pitchers or fly ball pitchers. Padres are 26th. Home run to fly ball ratio. That's never good. Padres are 13th. In terms of team ERA in the last month, Padres 25th in baseball. Expected ERA. Padres are 14th. So maybe they're getting a little unlucky in there. Fielding independent pitching in the last month for the Padres, 25th in baseball. Expected fielding independent pitching in the last month for the Padres. That is, I don't know why I can't find them on this one. They're dead last. That's why I can't find them. Which gives them a very bad WAR of a 0.5, which is probably like carried by Mason Miller. They're the 26th best pitching staff in Major League Baseball since June 22nd, 1 month basically of play. It's amazing how I mean, just that conversation, the Padres are playing the same kind of ball that they were playing at the beginning of the year in terms of like wins and losses. And it's been a complete role reversal on the team in terms of like Padres pitching the first couple months, dominating, keeping the offense in the game. Top 10 pitching staff across the board. First couple months of the year. Last month of the year, bottom half. Not even bottom half. Probably the bottom quarter. Like bottom 5 teams in almost every category. Offensively, complete role reversal. Bottom 5 offense the first couple months of the season. Last month, top 5 offense. It's honestly amazing how much they flipped. I mean, I'd have to do more research on that. I'd have to look at more research of like other teams to see if this happens a lot. But that sounds like a team that's around 500, does it not? I mean, that's the complete role reversal of now this is an offensive team and the pitching staff's terrible. And I think a lot of it obviously is the starting pitching is inflating things. But maybe they could get some better. Maybe they could get some outings like Walker Buehler's outing yesterday, again today. I think today's a very winnable matchup for the Padres, having Michael King going against Martin Perez.
Yeah, 100%.
Very winnable matchup.
I don't think they win tomorrow, though. I almost guarantee they lose tomorrow. Maybe it will speak a curse into existence, but I just don't see him beating Chris Sale tomorrow with Griffin Canning on the mound. I just don't see it.
You know who might not be losing until tomorrow either?
Who?
Boston.
They're kicking ass again.
He's got 4 runs in the first.
Wow. Get an update on that when we come back. Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego Sports Station 97 through the Fan. 11 o'clock, broadcasting live from the Bill House Studios. We know how. We're going to have Blanche Alverson on later on during the show. And later on in this hour, USD women's basketball coach. She's going to come on and talk about upcoming clinic that they had at USD that a lot of coaches in town can go out there and attend. And the last year, Mike Brown spoke at the clinic. I don't know what the lineup is this year, but Mike Brown was at the clinic, and then he goes and he wins the NBA Finals with the New York Knicks. Frank is still drunk on emotions after that finals win, if you will. Mike Brown, USD alumni as well. So we're going to get to Blanche Alverson later on at 1:35 in this hour to talk a little bit about that. But this Padres team starting to do a lot better offensively. Top 5 offense in baseball over the last month of the season. Maybe they could keep that up. We'll see how they do tonight against the Atlanta Braves. Now, it's a couple other things I wanted to get to today. Obviously, I think a lot of people, we're still in the we got to sell everything possible thing. I don't like that bandwagon because I don't necessarily think it's going to get you what you think it's going to get you. I think it's easy to sit there and be like, let's sell because we're getting all these great players back. And we did the exercise yesterday, Frank. We explained it as best we could. If you missed any of it, go on our YouTube page and watch. Wherever you get your podcast, go find it. Or go look at it. We break down specifically how to evaluate a lot of these prospects. And the conclusion we came to yesterday, and Frank, jump in if I'm wrong here, was if they are going to project to be a perennial all-star, they're probably not getting traded. Mm-hmm. You're most likely going to get, if you're lucky, a future value of a 55 rank on Fangraphs, which is a solid everyday major leaguer. Middle to back end rotation arm if he is a pitcher, and you're looking at guys that are going to be less than a 3-WAR player a year, less than a 4-WAR player a year. Those are solid players, but those are guys that you can go find. You have a plethora of those players, and these are all top 100 prospects. So be careful what you wish for. Now that being said, Ken Rosenthal had a report out today. And I would like to discuss this a little bit about AJ Preller, about the Padres, about, Mason Miller. And I think, you know what I think, Frank? I mean, if I'm honestly evaluating how these last couple of days have gone, I think that analysts and insiders and reporters in Major League Baseball, I think they eat up the trade deadline. I eat up the trade deadline. It's fun, right? This is like their time to shine. This is their time of year. And I think they know that this is going to potentially not be a not fun trade deadline because there's too many teams that are involved. There's too many teams that are still alive. There's not a lot of sellers out there, and there's not that big name on the market of who's going to win the sweepstakes. Who's going to win the Max Scherzer sweepstakes? Who's going to win the Juan Soto sweepstakes? Who's going to win the highly coveted great player, all-star, having an MVP type year on a very bad team? That doesn't exist. It was Tarik Skubal for a while, but the Tigers have played. Did you know how well the Tigers have done the last kind of month or so in perspective?
No,
as they've started to climb their way out of their bad situation. As of late, they're playing at a 100-win pace, which I thought was crazy. Now, obviously, they don't have enough games to get to that point because of the hole that they're in. But they're like playing a lot better. Like all of a sudden, they don't want to trade Tarik Skubal, which is interesting. I mean, they're still 5 games out of a wild card spot. The Red Sox aren't doing them any favors by winning 14 straight games. But if they hang on to Tarik Skubal, who's out there that's going to be the big piece that gets traded that everybody wants to clamor about, everybody wants to get excited about? What insider's going to have the breaking news about the big trade chip at the deadline? They're not going to have any.
How about you just focus on facts and not just give in to sensationalism like everyone else does?
They're not going to have any. And that's why I think they're pushing the narrative about Mason Miller. Because it's like, if he becomes available, all of a sudden, that moves the needle. That gets people excited. That's like the big blockbuster trade that headlines the deadline.
But he won't get any Cy Young votes.
Right. That's the move. And they can find it. The Padres are struggling. They're pushing the well, they only have an 11% chance of making the postseason, everything like that. Going for the headline. That's why I think you're seeing this so much more. I mean, I understand when there's smoke, there's fire. But here's the pick from Ken Rosenthal on AJ Preller today in the Athletic. Quote directly from the Athletic. Best line from a rival executive on the Padres president of baseball operations, AJ Preller, who is mulling whether to buy or sell and could do both. Quote, he's pushed in with a pair of twos, and I say that with tremendous respect for the guy. Indeed, many in the industry sense Preller is itching to buy, even with playoff odds that as of Wednesday were only 11.2%. The rival executive, by the way, believes Preller would be foolish not to trade closer Mason Miller. And no, the exec likely would not be involved in any Miller sweepstakes to say, he's trying to convince him to do it.
He's got a pair of twos, you said?
Mm-hmm.
That's a nice little way to hint at Mason Miller, because what's Mason Miller's number?
22.
That's a pair of twos. Coincidence? I think not.
Was that your best impersonation of from The Incredibles?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I love that. Coincidence? I think not. It's great. Relievers hold their greatest value at the deadline. Free agent options are in abundant supply during the offseason, giving teams numerous alternatives. Are there really alternatives to the guy that's the best guy out there, right? I mean, I think you have to evaluate Mason Miller differently than just any closer in baseball. I mean, he is the guy. Has there ever been? I mean, obviously a couple. I mean, when's the last time there's been a closer where it's like game's over before he even starts throwing warm-up pitches? I mean, it's few and far between. He's not like picking up anybody else at the deadline. It's not like picking up Josh Hader. It's not like picking up Edwin Diaz. And these are really good closers in their own right. They blow a lot of saves. It's not like picking up any other bullpen arm. You're telling me that, we could get Mason Miller, or I could just load up on Wandy Peralta, Adrian Morejon, maybe some of these other guys. I think it's slightly different. I think he's in a different category. A team trading for Miller would acquire him for 4 pennant races. One executive who has spoken with Preller surmised that if he shops Miller, his initial ask would be at least 2 top 100 prospects. He would be by far the best reliever available now that Aroldis Chapman is likely to stay in Boston. How about that? Red Sox win 14 straight games. All of a sudden, Aroldis Chapman is staying. Not a surprise. They're in a wild card spot now. I don't see... I think a lot of rival GMs and a lot of executives in Major League Baseball all act kind of the same way, Frank. I think they all relatively do the same deals by the book. You're not really in it, or you don't think you can win a World Series. Let's trade for the future. Unless you're like the Yankees, who never has to do that, right? Or some of the teams that have money that never have to do that. All of a sudden, that strategy doesn't apply. Like, oh, yeah. But I feel there's a couple of things with this narrative. One, I think everybody wants the Padres to go back to being the team that doesn't buy and doesn't try every single year, and wants them to think about the future more. Because I think teams that focused on the future, I think it usually burns them. I think it usually burns them when it comes to trying to win a World Series. I think it's too conservative.
And you're relying on what?
Lottery tickets. Tap the sign. Tap the sign. Right here. Tap the sign.
Prospects aren't a sure thing.
Correct. So, that's the first takeaway I have from this deal. The second one is, and I thought this was so true when Tony brought it up on the roundtable a month ago. in fairness to AJ Preller, AJ Preller gets evaluated a lot because he's the one that takes the risk and is willing to make the move. Because you know about those moves because they happened. A lot of general managers and president of baseball operations don't have the gall, if you will, to make these moves, to make these bold moves, to be somewhat reckless, if you will, and going all in and taking chances and gambling with that. They don't have that. That's why nobody else trades top prospects. And they would just rather go with the lottery ticket because they're so afraid that if they trade that person, he's going to turn into a sure thing. And nobody even knows if it's going to work or not. So I think it's hard when you see a lot of rival executives talk. Remember, they are rival. They're not part of the Padres organization. I think, Frank, a lot of them work off of Preller's non-traditional, and everybody else, I think, seems like they have a traditional outlook of they got to trade this guy. They got to trade this guy. It's part of the narrative. He's with the Padres. They got to trade this guy. I don't think that is necessarily the case. I don't think it would be foolish for AJ Preller to hang on to Mason Miller if you got 3 more years of him, and if the whole selling point that Ken Rosenthal laid out was a team that acquires him would have 4 pennant chases with him. If the Padres are not going to be competitive in the next 3 years, then you trade him. But if your plan is to be competitive over the next 3 years, I think it'd be foolish to trade him.
Like I said yesterday, if this were 10 years ago, absolutely, it's a foregone conclusion. He's gone. But with the situation the Padres find themselves in now, where you have the money on the payroll, you have the superstars who are still in their window to be able to help you, it should be a foregone conclusion to not trade him. Like, it makes no sense, especially for what you gave up. You gave up the number 2 prospect in baseball for what? Half a season for this guy? It makes no sense whatsoever. And I don't understand. I mean, I do kind of get it, but I don't understand where the legitimate thought of this Padre team getting trading Mason Miller away. I don't understand where it comes from and why it just insists on living when there should be no question that they're not trading him.
I think the best insider that we have seen on this particular deadline about, just the Padres situation is the breakdown from Robert Murray when he talked about yeah, here it is. I got to pull it up, the clip. Robert Murray was asked about that. They were going through, he put his buyer seller article out for Fansided, where he goes team by team. Miami Marlins, buyer. Brewers, buyer. Twins, shrug emoji. New York Mets, seller, right? You see those around the trade deadline all the time.
Couldn't you say Angels?
I was just going down the list in alphabetical order. I already passed them at that point. And he got to the Padres and he said buyer. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say the Padres are 2 players away from winning this thing and they need to go buy and be super aggressive.
Like we said,
I think standing pat is probably their best option. And if you want to just add a depth arm on the starting pitching market because you can't have Canning out there, sure. But Robert Murray said buyer, and this was the excerpt from his article. I'm putting the Padres as a buyer because I can't see AJ Preller, only at the time 2.5 games out of a wild card spot, with a talented roster deciding to sell. I don't think that's the case either. I mean, this is a guy that is always trying to add to his team. He's always looking for stars. He's always on the hunt for stars. He hardly ever trades them away. He didn't even do it with Justin Upton when the team was not good and was not part of their window to win. He didn't do it with him. He goes on to say, that was my own, this is back to the quote. On that topic, I'm skeptical that San Diego trades Mason Miller. Preller coveted Miller, parting with Leo DeVries, a top 2 prospect in baseball, to land him at last year's trade deadline. Miller has been excellent this season and exceeded their already high expectations. All that for Preller to trade him just 12 months later, color me skeptical.
I want to make I want to highlight that point that you made in there. That is a top 2 prospect in baseball, not in the Padres system, in baseball. AJ Preller gave up a guy that normally you would never trade to get this guy. And again, as Robert Murray says, to give him away a year later when you have so many years of control. Now, it might be a little bit different if he's coming up on free agency, but he's not. You still have years of control at a very, very affordable price for him. You have 4 years of arbitration coming up on him. I don't understand the logic behind trading him with the Padres being in the current state that they're in.
They didn't. Think about this. They didn't trade Cease last year. They talked about it over and over again. They didn't trade Cease last year. They could have traded Pivetta over the offseason. They didn't trade Pivetta over the offseason. I see this carrot get dangled over and over and over again. And I honestly think it's just AJ Preller seeing who's going to bite and give me way more than they need to. That's how I view this. I agree with Robert Murray. I don't know why you would trade away the number 2 overall prospect in all of baseball, and then for Mason Miller, and then he gets better. Miller gets better with you than he was in Los Clemente. And then you're like, oh, we're going to get rid of him. And then we're not going to get the number 2 best prospect in all of baseball back. Like, that would be organizational malpractice for him to do something like that.
Once again, it's the national media thinking that this is the early 90s Padres where they just trade all their good players because they're never in a position to fight for the postseason. That's all this is. It's refusing to acknowledge where the Padres are right now, and the fact that this winning and these playoff appearances have been sustained over a length of time that has never been seen in this organization's history before.
Last year, remember, they made the Mason Miller trade before Jason Adam got hurt. I would have traded Robert Suarez last year. 100%. I would have traded Robert Suarez last year for anything. And you know what? You would have got something good out of Robert Suarez. Wasn't he not an all-star last year? He's an impending free agent. Every other team needs bullpen help. When the Padres acquired Mason Miller, they're like, what, we have all these bullpen guys that we don't really need. We just made a super bullpen. Where's our offense? Where's our starting pitching? I would have traded Robert Suarez. It made sense. This doesn't make sense. And I get the narrative of having a closer on a mediocre team is a waste of time. That's assuming that this team's going to be mediocre for the next 4 years. Yeah. And if that's the case, I guess. But guess who's available next year? Mason Miller. And yes, I understand that this might be the most value that he will ever get. But if you're still getting offers that don't even come close to that value, you're probably going to get the same offers next year that are, again, major taking a chance. I'll go through it. I saw, I like MLB Executive Burner on Twitter. It's kind of fun to watch. He gave out 4 trade proposals for Mason Miller that this could get it done. I went through it. I'll tell you what these guys might turn into when we come back. And you tell me if you'd make that deal. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. We discuss next on the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego Sports Station 97 through the Fan. This will be our final World Cup date, if you will, in between before we turn this back into San Diego FC coverage, as they will be back in action coming up this week. Spain, world champions once again, 106-minute goal from Ferran Torres. He lifted Spain to a 1-0 extra time victory over Argentina, giving them their second World Cup title and completing an incredible tournament. Spain allowed just one goal the entire World Cup, dominated possession in the final, and completely shut down Messi in what could be the last World Cup match of his legendary career. Rodri controlled the midfield all night and was deservedly named player of the tournament, but the ending wasn't all celebration. Argentina's Enzo Fernandez was sent off late. Tensions boiled over the final whistle, and several players were involved in a post-match confrontation and confrontations as emotions spilled onto the field. In the end, though, one thing was undeniable. Spain played the best football of the tournament, and they are deserved world champions. Frank, how did Spain reclaim the World Cup title?
It was an incredible match. They didn't rely on one superstar to carry them through the tournament. Instead, they trusted what has defined Spain for years, and that is possession, patience, and control. They conceded one goal throughout the entire tournament, dominated possession through the final, and completely neutralized Lionel Messi and Argentina's attack. The winning goals summed up everything Spain had built through the tournament. Pedro Porro delivered a perfect cross. Nico Williams headed it back across goal. Ferran Torres finished clinically, a true team goal from a true championship team. Argentina was nowhere to be found in that game yesterday.
And if this was Messi's final World Cup appearance, it was a difficult way for one of the greatest careers in sports history to end. Spain simply refused to let him influence the game. I mean, he barely touched the ball.
Bless you. In
the opening stages, and was constantly surrounded whenever he found space, and never found a rhythm that defined the rest of his remarkable tournament. It's not an indictment of Messi. That's just kind of a credit to Spain of just how good they had been. And it wasn't just Messi. I mean, they shut everybody down throughout this tournament.
Yeah, Rodri and Spain completely controlled possession, cutting off Argentina's supply lines and forcing Messi into one of the quietest World Cup matchups of his career. And that's saying something, especially with how his World Cup started. Even in defeat, though, Messi's legacy remains untouchable, a World Cup champion, multiple Copa America's championships, and one of the greatest playing careers the sport has ever seen. So this would probably be a lot more of a sting for Lionel Messi individually had Argentina not won in Qatar in 2022. But still, this was a bad game, not just from Lionel Messi, but from Argentina, who picked the worst time in this tournament to play their worst match of the tournament.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the final will also be remembered for Argentina just completely acting like, I don't know, children, I guess. I mean, they've completely lost their composure at the end. I mean, midfielder Enzo Fernandez received a second yellow card late in regulation after a reckless challenge on Spain. Leaving Argentina to play with all of extra time with 10 men. Spain took full advantage of that. After Torres scored the winner, emotions boiled over. Players from both sides exchanged words. Pushing and shoving broke out after the final whistle, and several Argentina players were involved in confrontations instead of joining the traditional post-match sportsmanship. To make matters worse, many Argentina players turned away during Spain's trophy celebration rather than acknowledging the new champions. Very disappointing conclusion for a team that had represented its country so passionately throughout the tournament. I think that was embarrassing for soccer. I think it's embarrassing for them. And, you know, it's if that's what we're going for in the future, that's embarrassing for all of sports if we're going to make this the sportsmanship of the losing team.
Yeah, that was a sore loser moment on a world stage for Argentina. And I mean, that's frustration because of the match and how the match was played out. And it wasn't even really anything bad. It was just Spain just completely snuffed them out. Anything that Argentina tried to do, Spain had multiple answers for it. And Argentina did get close. They almost scored a miracle goal right at the very end to be able to push it to penalties. But even still, I mean, that's just frustration, not of the way the match was officiated, which I thought was fine, not of, just of anything that Argentina necessarily did wrong. It's just frustration that the other team, Spain, had their number, and they had an answer to everything that Argentina tried to throw out at them. to the point where, Argentina just to the point where they started, because you're getting to that point towards the end of the half, and they were talking about it on the broadcast, that every second that goes by, the game starts flipping into Argentina's favor because they have a world-class goalkeeper. They're very good on penalties. All they have to do is just not lose it and not explode. And that's exactly what they did. So, I mean, even as the game was going into their favor, the frustration of how good Spain was.
In a couple of minutes here, we're going to get to Blanche Alverson of USD. Got a big clip coming up.
She's going to be going a little bit. She's going to be calling a little bit later. So,
all right.
I mean, it'll still be next segment, but we can go a little bit longer here.
All right. I saw your text. I was like, well, get out at 28 or 33. So we can get out at 33. All right, let's talk about some of these proposals that have been thrown out there. And we got a couple of guys on hold, so I guess we can get to that first, and then we'll get to it. And we've discussed this. Again, the future value, you're going for a lottery ticket. You're going for a lottery ticket. And I knew somebody was going to do this in the YouTube chat, Frank. I knew somebody was going to do this. But Frank, they traded the farm for Soto, then traded him away. Bro. Do you not understand the difference in context in terms of like years left on contracts? Do we not understand that?
Even more bad news.
What?
LeBron saw his shadow. 6 more weeks of waiting.
What? What did he announce? He's just like, I'm going to wait?
Yeah, he saw his shadow.
Can we stop with him? Like, why does he need to be the center of attention still? It's like, bro, hang it up. Let it go. Let me ask you this.
That was a joke on Twitter. No one actually reported that. I was just bringing up something about as relevant as the Soto trade.
Let me ask you this about LeBron.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think like the teams that have been rumored to potentially sign LeBron, do you think their fans right now are on the edge of their seat waiting for LeBron to decide?
They are
excitingly like I can't wait to have LeBron. I mean, ask Lakers fans.
They're
like they could not wait for that guy to leave.
Yeah, they are excited. They are waiting eagerly to not get picked. Yes,
it's like the Hunger Games. No!
I'm taking my talents back to South Bay.
Why? Go back to Cleveland, dude. At least that would be kind of fun. Okay. The future value is never really there. Fangraphs did this too. They went through like the last 20 years, and it's very rare that prospects that get dealt at the trade deadline turn into not like stars. They barely get turned into like everyday players. It's very few and far between. You just look at every Dodgers trade that they've made, aside from Yordan Alvarez. That was like the only one that they made a mistake on. 833-288-973, 833-288-973. Let's get out to Davis in San Diego. Davis, what's going on, man?
What's up, Braden? I've a pretty strong opinion on these Miller talks because me and my friends always banter about it. One of my friends is sell, but he's also a Yankees fan, so he doesn't really understand. But I'm frustrated.
That guy's never sold in his life. What are you talking about?
I know, that's what I'm saying. But I feel like the Miller rumors are really being blown up by media because they're just trying to get that big story to get everyone to keep checking in on it. I remember when it still goes on a little bit, but all those Yankees Tatis rumors that Yankee fans just wouldn't shut up about, despite Preller saying that he won't be traded. They just wanted to keep talking about it and proposing trades. I think Miller's definitely available, but it would take a massive return that probably won't be offered. He has 4 years of control, which that's the main thing I had talked about. Nobody wants Bogaerts or Machado, so it wouldn't be a big fire sale anyways. So Miller is the big trade chip, and since he has 4 years of control, we could still choose to sell next year or the year after that. And even with that, even if Miller gets traded, I think it would still be a buy and sell kind of thing. Because you have at least 2 more years of Manny's production, and Tatis finally got hot. And Tatis and Manny getting hot makes Merrill get hot, I hope. And finally, since we're out of that offensive nightmare, this would be a really good time to start buying. Problem is you don't have a lot of resources to buy. I would only like a Miller trade if it was with the Mariners because they are seeking them. And like a Bryce Miller, Kate Anderson, and Cole Emerson trade would keep us competitive, but also get a bit more youthful with Emerson, a young lefty. Obviously, the Mariners wouldn't accept that deal because they love their starters and it's a little too much, but I really think that's the only thing Preller would accept would be a massive return like that.
Yeah, I think it's, and Davis, appreciate the phone call. I mean,
I miss the days of knowing more than all my friends in high school. I really do. Times were simpler back then. I miss being in Davis's spot.
It's called paying attention. I just feel like with any of these trades, Frank and I agree. We talked about this before the show started. Any Miller trade's going to be a knock your socks off trade. It's got to be something where it's like, I can't believe we got all these guys. Like that's the trade that's going to put them over the top. That's the one that's going to be like, all right, yeah, sure, you could have Mason Miller. Like it has to be something so lopsided. It's ridiculous. And some of these trades that MLB executive Burner put out there, there's guys that have had Tommy John surgery. There's guys that have, have been injured 2 or 3 times already in their minor league career, and they're still like 19 years old. I mean, there's guys that project to be like a 1 or 2 WAR player. And these are like the guys that they're trying to hype up as like, oh, he's your future. He's your future. I'm so done with the like rich teams selling the future dream to the poor teams. This is what you really want. You want this guy. Why don't you want him? Oh, he's just so good. And, he'd be perfect for you guys.
He's too good for us.
He's too good for us. Yeah, he's, we just, he's going to be great for you. I think, we don't have a lot of fit for him, but, stop it. I'm tired of listening to that narrative. And I think now with social media and people like understand and like all this access to information, I think a lot of people are like, you know what? I don't necessarily know I like doing this. 833-288-973, 833-288-973. Let's get out to Nate in San Marcos. Nate, what's going on?
Not much. Hey, I'm not worried about, Miller going anywhere, but you know what creeped me out is when Dave Roberts came up on the mound on the All-Star game and talked to Mason Miller, Could only imagine what he said to him. But besides that, I would really like for AJ to go and make a trade to get Luis Ariz back. Maybe, some pitching from the Giants since they're rebuilding. So if AJ is listening, we'd love number 4 back to San Diego.
Nate wants Luis Ariz back. The offense is drastically improved. I don't necessarily know you need to bring Luis Ariz back. I think any type of move that they make might be a fringe move. Mm-hmm. But we'll see. We'll see what happens tonight. Every game's going to flip people. I've already seen some of the negative people like, you know what, maybe they should buy after that Fernando 474-foot home run. Blanche Alverson will join us next. 11:39 on a Wednesday. Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego Padres Sports Station 97.3. The Fan. We're on each and every day from 10 to 2. We will not be on tomorrow per se. Depends on how the Padre game goes. You might get an extra hour of me. You might not. Who knows? But we're on usually each and every day. We broadcast live from the Bill House Studios. We know how. All of our guests join us on the SDCCU Fan Hotline. And joining us now for 1 year at the helm of the women's basketball team at the University of San Diego, completed her first year as the head coach, getting ready for another season here in a couple of months or so. Be here before you know it. But big coaching clinic happening over at Alcala Park for University of San Diego for basketball. Blanche Alverson, the head coach of the women's basketball team, will join us right now to talk a little bit about that, but obviously about last year and a little bit about this year. So Blanche joins us on the SDCCU Fan Hotline. Blanche, last time we talked on the radio, it was, you talked to my brother at the at Enterprise. You were just going all around San Diego, meeting as many people as possible. You've now settled in. You've completed a season. But, as a coach myself at the high school level for football, I understand sometimes your expectations are a little bit different than what actually plays out for you. After completing one full season as a head coach, what was that experience like? What did you learn from year one? And, what were some of the growths that you went on in first year of being a head coach at the college level?
Yeah, absolutely. First off, thanks for having me on. Super, super happy. You're right. A year ago, I was just getting my feet on the ground, really excited to obviously be in San Diego and be a part of this community. And, now, right, like kind of going into year two, just finally feel like we have the building blocks that we need to be successful. And year one for us was awesome, really a growth year. We were really young, and so really just once we got our team here and really started to build, we were able to see what we had, the growth and what we did. We won double digit games in year one, won a game in March in the WCC tournament. And so we do definitely view last year as a success in a lot of ways, but definitely excited to build on that in year two and really have goals to win at a high level and compete for championships here at USD.
A lot of the impact players you had. I mean, you mentioned they were young. Olivia Owens, Kylie Ray, who had just been coming off of a knee injury as she transferred over from Utah. You didn't even have everybody for most of the year. I mean, Laura McCall should be back this year, but a lot of great youth, a lot of great talent that you got to see. And I think that goes with some of the losses too. Like, you look at the record, but a lot of those losses in conference were by like two points, one possession. Obviously, I think a lot of youth showed in that particular spot, but I know you are what your record says you are, but there was a couple of plays away from that record being a lot different. I don't know if you hold your hat on that or at all, but what's the improvement now going into this season with getting a lot of those players back?
Yeah, I think experience matters a ton. The phrase these days in college athletics is if you'd like to get old and stay old. And so for us, what is good is we were able to retain a lot of our experience from last year. And like you mentioned, having Lauren McCall back off her knee injury and, having a season under our belt for a lot of our players, I think is really going to be beneficial. And you're right. Like we had, I think 12 games, were single digit outcomes, win or lose. And so, when you have that, I do think you can look at, we're right there and being able to then have your experience back. And, I told our players last year, like, hey, now we know what it feels like and you've experienced this before, because we really had players who had never experienced it, experienced what it looks like to play at the collegiate level and play in one of the a really tough conference in the WCC. And so now we know what that is. And so we have all conference players coming back, as well as adding a couple of pieces from the transfer portal, and really excited about those pieces we added. And, I think we add a lot of production. We return our production and then add more production. So just I think really, for us, just excited for the future. A lot of opportunity, a lot of potential, but, really just excited have them here in San Diego and get back to work in the fall.
We're talking with Blanche Alverson, head coach of the USD women's basketball program, joining us on the SDCCU fan hotline. It's not big bank banking, it's better. Obviously, the conference looks a little bit different this year. Gonzaga's no longer in it. Denver gets added. There's a lot of moving parts. I know that seems to be almost normal in college athletics these days. How does that, open up the season for you guys in particular? But I'm sure a lot of it is we just play whoever's on our schedule, despite what the new conference might look like.
Yeah, exactly. I think with Gonzaga leaving our conference, I think that's a huge fan base we're losing. So I think, what it does do is it opens up the door, I think, for us at USD to become one of the perennial powerhouses in the WCC. And I know as an athletic department, we're all excited for that. For us and men's basketball both. And I think it's a competitive league. LMU won the league last year. Well, they're still in our conference, and Santa Clara's, super competitive, and with St. Mary's and Pepperdine. And you're right. You definitely play who you have on your schedule. But, we're excited. I think we have a great non-conference slate too. We're playing some competitive games, some high-level games in the non-conference, playing UCSD to open the season for the Bill Walton Classic. We're hosting a tournament this year that we're really excited about. We think it's the best tournament on a college campus for women's basketball next season. So, we're excited about what's on our schedule and what we have to look forward to, and feel really good about our team that we have to compete with.
And you guys got a fun clinic coming up in the not too distant future. It's going to be you, JR Blount. You were a part of this last year, even in your first year. And I mean, you never know who's going to show up. Mike Brown spoke last year and then won the NBA Finals. Obviously, USD alumni, so that's pretty cool. Guys have a fun slate of guest speakers. I'm sure you learn a lot at these, as all coaches do. But it's an opportunity for a lot of high school basketball coaches, AAU basketball coaches, a lot of legit basketball coaches to help improve their skills, and a great way for you guys to connect with the community. Tell us a little bit more about this upcoming coaches clinic that you guys are hosting at your brand new, still state-of-the-art facilities that I still haven't checked out yet, but I'm sure is a great place for you guys to practice and train at.
Yeah, absolutely. We're excited about the clinic. Last year it was our first year to do our coaches clinic, and it really is about the community. We want to emphasize, accessibility for coaches at every level, youth, high school, AAU, college. It's a free clinic for coaches to really be able to fellowship, learn, build relationships. And I think that's what we really want to emphasize. And last year was awesome. Obviously, with Mike Brown being able to come back and speak, he had just been named the head coach of the Knicks. And so now, being able to have a little bit of credibility there too, with winning the NBA Finals this year is pretty incredible. And then we also had great women's basketball speakers with Lindsay Gottlieb from USC and Beth Burns, who is a longtime coach at San Diego State. We've had some really just outstanding speakers and coaches give back and give back to the Southern California community. So this year we're really excited. I think for us in the women's basketball space, anytime you can have a championship coach come down, we have Corey Close coming to speak from UCLA, just won a national championship. And she's an outstanding speaker and leader and even better person. And so really, from our standpoint, just we're really fortunate to be able to have, coaches of this caliber be able to come and believe in what we're doing here at USD and willing to be a part of it. It's exciting that we want to continue we want it to grow. Our signups right now are already looking great, but we're obviously an opportunity just to continue to give back to our community and our coaching community, and an opportunity to learn and grow as well. But we're really excited about it, and I do think it really does speak to what we're doing here at USD, to have speakers and coaches of this caliber, but also that the turnout we're looking to have on August 1st.
Jeff Van Gundy will be there. Corey Close, as Blanche mentioned. Seth Davis will be there as well. It's a one-day clinic. It's from 9 in the morning to 1 p.m. on August 1st. If they want to sign up, Blanche, how can maybe some of our audience that are basketball coaches or interested in attending the clinic, how can they attend?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can go to usdtoreros.com or visit any of our social media links, whether that's USD Toreros, USD MBB, which is our men's basketball account, or USD WBB, our women's basketball account. The links are in our bios on those, but again, also at usdtoreros.com is a great way to register for our event.
Last question for you, Blanche. The year one has been completed. You're getting into year two. I know you kind of answered this a little bit. What is Blanche Alverson the most excited about getting back out there to really start season two of her head coaching career?
Yeah, that's a great question. And, I think I have a lot of gratitude for where we are and our staff and being here in San Diego. It's just such a special place. And we're excited to get a product on the floor that we can be proud of. And, we love our community. We love engaging in our community. And I think one of the best things is we miss game day. We miss the atmosphere. We miss being around our fans. And so not only the basketball part and competing at a high level, but really just excited also to be back in playing basketball, because that's what we all love to do. And, it's a fun atmosphere. We're excited about what we're building, and looking forward to be back out on the court in November.
I said last question, but I have a follow-up. You now have had a full year in San Diego. I'm born and raised here. I've lived here my entire life. I couldn't ask you this when you're driving around for the first time. But now that you've had 1 year here, what's your favorite thing non-sports-wise about living in San Diego?
Yeah, I think that's one. Everyone will probably say the weather. But I think what's really special is being able to go down to the beach at any point in time, sunrise, sunset, throughout the day, and just have access to the beach. Gives you some perspective on life a little bit while we're here, and realize that just how special of a place San Diego is and this community is. And that's one of my favorite things, is being able to hop down to the beach at any point in time and be able to see the water, touch the sand, touch the water. Really gives you life in a lot of ways.
Blanche, appreciate the time as always. Good luck on the clinic coming up. And if we don't get you on before the season starts, which I think we will, good luck on the season. Look forward to seeing you out there at the Jenny Craig Pavilion.
Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate you having us on. Look forward to seeing you too.
Blanche Alverson, head coach of the women's basketball program at the University of San Diego, joining us on the SDCCU fan hotline. It's not Big Bang Banking. It's better. I mean, every time you get first year as a head coach, I've never been a head coach, nor do I really aspire to be. Sometimes, I mean, it's a lot of like business more than like coaching, right? Administrative things, especially like the high school level. But like the first time you're in a coaching role, there's a lot of things you think are going to happen, and then they don't happen. And that's why I really wanted to ask her about that. But they did a great job last year. I mean, there were so many possessions, Frank. I mean, so many games that came down to the final possession that they just had youth moments, I think is the best way I could describe it. Inbounds pass goes off somebody's leg out of bounds to the turnover. They didn't even get a shot off. Like just little things that are definitely taken care of when you have another year of experience. And I tell you what, like, I didn't want to get into the details, but just by somebody that like I call their games, so I know a lot about their players. In this day and age of college athletics, for men's and women's basketball, it's very lucrative to NIL and transfer. Olivia Owens was unbelievable. She's good. Kylie Ray, really good. I mean, you go down the list on some of the young players they had. I thought for sure they wouldn't stay. It's hard to do, but I think that tells you just how how big of an impact Blanche Alverson had in her first year, where they want to stay. I think in this day and age of college athletics, I think you got to judge coaches a lot based on how they, instead of recruiting high school or recruiting in the transfer portal, I think you have to evaluate coaches on how they recruit their own kids and how they keep them in the program.
Recruit retainment at that point. But yeah, no, it's very, very, very good year for USD to build off of last year. And now it's time to go back and do it again this year.
The clinic's going to be cool. Months. I mean, they had a great time. So if you're interested, if you're a local basketball coach at the high school level, AAU, you will be,
vetted prior to admission. It is only open to verified basketball coaches, this clinic. August 1st from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., USD Basketball Performance Center. You can go to usdtoreros.com for more information. Again, it's a free clinic with registration. Jeff Van Gundy is going to be there talking at the clinic. UCLA head women's basketball coach and reigning national champion Corey Close will be there. Seth Davis, editor-in-chief of Hoops HQ and longtime CBS and TNT March Madness analyst, will be there as well. Should be a good list. Plus, you can hear from our local college coaches as well, like J.R. Blount, who is the USD men's basketball coach, and of course, Blanche Alverson, who just joined us. So pretty cool moment there. When we come back, we're going to get to our sports thread that we had to move one segment over because of this interview, find out what else is going on in the sports world. Braden Surprenant Show, setting us up at Sports Station 97 to the Fan.
New lunchtime hour on the Fan. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. It's the Braden Surprenant Show. San Diego Sports Station 97.3 The Fan. We're going to dive back into our baseball coverage on the Fan. Baseball coverage is presented by Xfinity. Where is it? There it is. Score the most reliable Wi-Fi. One price, 5 years, guaranteed. Xfinity. Imagine that. Before we move any further and dive back into some Padres conversation, get you an update on some of the games going on in Major League Baseball that do affect the Padres, like the Yankees and the Pirates. We need to get to what else is going on in baseball with today. Or sorry, what else is going on in sports with today's sports thread. All right, Frank, what we got going on today?
Well, you weren't too far off because we do have a couple of baseball stories on here. First, we'll start off with one of those.
Number 1.
Going to go up to 5. Unfortunately, not that far. The Angels fired pro scout Justin Boomer Prinstein after he was caught.
I'm sorry, his name is what?
Justin Boomer Prinstein.
He better
Prinstein.
Princeton. He either should have gone to Princeton, Oklahoma. Please tell me he's super old.
Well, right
one
now,
of those three things.
Well, right now he's going to the unemployment line after he was fired after he was caught filming Rockies coaches during a game at Coors Field, raising concerns about potential sign stealing. While simply recording video isn't automatically illegal, using technology to decode or steal signs is strictly prohibited under Major League Baseball rules. The Angels acted quickly after being notified by the league, immediately terminating him and apologizing to the Rockies, with both MLB and the teams believing he acted independently and that no further punishment for the organization is expected. Given baseball's history with sign-stealing scandals, did the Angels make the right decision by firing the scout immediately, or should they have waited for a full investigation before taking action?
I think they were so embarrassed it didn't work that they had to fire him. Dennis Lynn tweeted this out yesterday. Since the story was published,
he had a hand in this article too.
The Athletic has learned Justin Prinstein was also spotted apparently filming Padres coaches in San Diego dugout during an April series at Petco Park. The Padres later took 2 out of 3 against the Angels in Anaheim. We had the shutdown of AI, and the Mets were one of the ones using the AI. They're like one of the worst teams in Major League Baseball. We have a sign stealing scandal with the Angels, and they're in dead last. It didn't work. He got fired because it's like, wait a minute, we knew what they were doing. We still could have beat him. Fired. You obviously didn't do it well enough. Should you even get punished for cheating if it makes you worse? They're 11.5 games out of a wild card spot. They're 41-61. They're 20 games under 500.
Those are some serious shower thoughts.
Only
right
the Rockies have a worse record than they do, and it's by a half a game because they're 41-62. Second worst winning percentage in all of baseball. That guy got fired because they didn't get the job done.
I mean, what else do you say? Those are some serious shower thoughts. If the cheat, do you get in trouble for cheating if the cheating doesn't work?
The cheating made him worse.
Like that's like, you know what?
You're really in deep thought about this.
You guys,
that was totally like me joking, but you know what? Frank's onto something here.
You know what, guys? Keep cheating.
The Angels are so bad that when they cheat, they still get their ass kicked.
They get worse.
Right. And think about
worse.
This. They've beaten the Cardinals the last 2 days. They've kicked the Cardinals' ass the last 2 days. Yeah. Well, actually, I don't know if they kicked their ass. They kicked their ass last night. But the Yankees, let's go.
Okay. Hold.
Ben Rice.
Foul. No, 2 fouls.
Nope. Need the Pirates to lose. Let's go, Ben Rice. Tie the ball game up.
Then
This is a Yankees show now. Frank's going to quit.
Oh, boy.
Is it possibly rooting for the Yankees and the Red Sox at the exact same time?
No.
Let's go. Look at the chatter. He's fired up for the Bronx Bombers. Where's Derek in La Mesa? Get excited. Let's go, buddy.
God.
Number 2.
Come on, Spencer Jones. Need the hometown kid. Take the lead here. Tied at 3, bottom of the 7th.
And he's up because it's a doubleheader today. The battle over baseball's future is heating up as Major League Baseball Players Association has unveiled its proposal for a new domestic draft, directly opposing owners' plans to dramatically shrink the draft and reduce amateur signing bonuses. Instead, the union wants to keep the current 20 round format.
20 rounds is ridiculous,
Expand draft eligibility to younger college players, preserve competitive balance picks for small market teams, and give clubs more flexibility to spend on amateur talent. With collective bargaining negotiations continuing, the outcome could reshape how young players enter professional baseball for years to come. Which is a better future of baseball? The owner's plan of streamlining the draft and cut costs, or the player union's proposal to expand opportunities and invest more in amateur talent?
You have college. Everybody else uses college to produce players. And this is where I lose all the traditional baseball people. They go like, the college game is so different. They're trying to win college games. They're not trying to develop. Minor League Baseball right now develops Minor League Baseball is established for 2 players in each org to get better. That's basically what it is. Most of those guys will never touch Major League Baseball. Why do we need 20-round drafts? Why do we need 4 levels of the minor leagues? Look, I get it. I understand there's a lot of cities that need the minor league teams. It's fun. It's Americana. It's tradition. I understand all of that. I get the whole, you can find the Mike Piazza of the group. It is so rare that happens. I don't understand why you need so many minor league teams. I don't get it. From a perspective of trying to produce talent, don't you want to have some of the best talent in the world? I mean, at this point, if I'm Major League Baseball, because here's the other thing too. Everybody always says like, well, you can't expand. There's not enough pitchers now. Lop off 2 levels. Lop off 2 levels. Make it AA and AAA for your teams, your farm system. Add two Major League Baseball organizations to get you to 32 teams. I'd rather see that with less draft picks. I think it's better this way. I think by having 4 levels of the minor leagues, is preventing the inevitable of like keeping people's dreams alive. That are just, it's never going to happen. I would rather have the best. I've already said this. I'd rather have the best product on the field. I'm sure the owners save a ton of money doing this, but wouldn't it be better if you had a draft and then that guy's up in a year? Like he's actually impacting your team immediately. And what happens is those guys get pushed down. Less high school kids get drafted. Why do you need high school kids to get drafted? Let them go to college. They make a fortune in college now. It's better to be a college baseball player than it is to be a minor league baseball player now. Are you kidding me? You got guys turning around top 10 round draft picks to go play at Tennessee because they're getting like $1.5 million. Let them go to college. Make draft eligibility after their sophomore year. I mean, they could fix a lot of this stuff. I just think the union wants extra union fees by adding more people to their system. So yeah, MLB's trying to cut costs. Players Association trying to gain revenue. They're both in it for money. It's all about money. Nobody cares about the actual development of the players. That's how I think it. I don't think you need all these minor league teams. I mean, it's fun. It's cool to have like the rubber ducks and all that stuff, but like flying squirrels and the trash pandas. But is it really helping?
Don't you dare cut my trash pandas.
Look, I'd love to see the Padres keep. I mean, I think they should keep the Lake Elsinore Storm. It's tradition like
any other, but maybe you move the leagues around a little bit.
That's fine by me.
There's 4 levels, and you have the Arizona and you have the complex league. It's like, and you have the training facilities now. They have so many levels. It's just way too much. It's unnecessary.
Number 3.
The 2026 FIFA World Cup proved to be a massive success both and off the field, as the U.S., Canada, and Mexico host the largest tournament in history. Spain's victory over Argentina drew more than 60 million viewers in the United States alone.
I think only the Super Bowl outdoes that, right? They did everything.
Across English and Spanish broadcasts make it the most watched soccer match in American television history. With packed stadiums, strong television ratings, and global stars like Lionel Messi, Kylian Mbappe, and Erling Haaland captivating audiences, the tournament highlighted soccer's continued growth in North America. Did the success of the 2026 World Cup prove that soccer has truly become mainstream in North America, or is that a momentum that will fade after the World Cup buzz wears off?
You're asking whether or not these people are going to just start tuning in the MLS?
I wouldn't even say the MLS, just pay more attention to soccer in general.
I don't think so. Because people in the United States get super hyped up for the Olympics, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do they ever stick around to watch the track world championships or the swimming world championships or any of the summer Olympics? They'll stick around for hockey, right? Maybe. That's how I got into hockey, watching the Olympics first, way back in the day. But I just... Here's how I view soccer in the United States. Unless the MLS can outspend Europe for players and all the best talent is here, I don't think the United States is going to really build too much into soccer. And a lot of the soccer fans are super into the Premier League because that's the best level of soccer, the ones that are here. I think if you wanted to get more Americans to watch soccer on a daily basis, you would have to bring the best league here. That's just, to me, how it kind of works.
And they're kind of doing it.
They're slowly doing it.
Lionel Messi here, Antoine Griezmann here. Even the Red Bulls had Thierry Henry for a while, but the biggest problem is they're on the back end.
Right. They need to get him at the beginning, right? You need to go get the next Messi when he's 20-something, and then you got to pay him all the money to stay here. And then you need to get more players that want to come play here. And until they do that, I think it will fade with the World Cup. I just feel like unless MLS becomes a top 5 league where people can watch the best level of soccer in the United States, I think you're just going to get the one-off years where everybody's in for the World Cup. I also think it helps that Team USA actually had a little bit more expectation this year too.
Easy money. We're not saying that hockey is comparing to the MLS. What we're saying is that hockey was able to get people in and retain people through the Olympics and through the Four Nations tournament.
But also with the NHL, though, they're the highest level of hockey in the world, right? To me, if the MLS was the highest level of soccer in the world, I think you could retain more people because they would see all these guys playing.
Yeah,
they don't see any of these guys playing in the MLS, and they go and then they forget about it. Plus, with the timing and everything, you mentioned how having the game have the World Cup final during the day hurt. It just didn't seem right. Well, they have to do that because Europe's their main audience, right? And so, you're watching all the games are early in the morning, right? I think what's the latest they start out here on the West Coast? Noon?
Serie A starts at 11:45.
In the morning, right? Everything, and it's on a Sunday morning, right?
Yeah, Saturday and Sunday.
To me, it's that also leads to it.
Yep.
Number 4.
You want to go more baseball, or do you want to go NFL here?
Let's go NFL.
The NFL's gambling crackdown continues as Cardinals director of college scouting, Ryan Gold, has been suspended indefinitely for allegedly violating the league's gambling policy. The NFL says Gold shared confidential draft information and participated in prohibited betting, while his attorney strongly denies the allegations. Of course he would. claiming the bets were placed by Gold's wife and arguing Gold couldn't have leaked draft picks he didn't know himself. With an appeal already underway, the case adds another high-profile chapter to the league's ongoing effort to protect its integrity. Has the NFL struck the right balance with its strict gambling policies, or do some of these cases show the league's rules have become too broad and difficult to fairly enforce?
I don't know how they're going to enforce all this stuff. I don't know how people are going to enforce any of this. This is what happens when you can bet on anything. I mean, think about, like, we talked about the Miami Heat accidentally leaking the that probably had a massive impact on Kalshi and Polymarket and all the betting communities.
And on Indeed right now, the Heat are looking for a YouTube brand marketer.
Oh no! Is that real? Is that real? What a mistake,
I gotta
dude.
find it.
What an honest mistake. I mean, this is not me like throwing you under the bus, but like how many times have we had, I've made mistakes in the YouTube too, just with the dates, or like maybe you put the schedule in wrong to schedule the post. I mean, that is such a simple mistake that now has massive money implications.
This is from NBA Central, and I know it's Central because I have Central blocked. Miami Heat, as of 18 hours ago from that post, so it's like a day or so ago, director of YouTube strategy.
That's unfortunate. I mean, I don't think anybody should lose their job over that. It's an honest mistake, in my opinion. But to go back to the gambling thing, the fact that you can trade on whether or not a flight is going to get delayed is crazy. It's crazy. And like, what was it? Donald Trump's speechwriter or something like that, or is it the teleprompter?
His teleprompter.
The teleprompter operator.
Yes.
The operator or the writer of the speeches? The operator. The guy that does. He just literally scroll. Have you ever operated a teleprompter before?
I have. Yes.
Yeah, a little scroll.
It's a little
right?
scroll wall. Yeah. Little scroll ball.
That guy was trading on how long speeches would be for. I mean, come on.
Made $100,000.
They make it too easy. It's too easy. I don't know how you police this stuff. It's just that, hey, let's trade on all these things. Okay. You know, there's a lot of people you can't control. Like, what are you going to tell the guy? You're going to tell the guy that like unloads the bags at the airport out of the plane, hey man, you got to sign this thing saying you won't illegally gamble on this to impact like insider trade. Are you kidding me? How are you going to police it? You don't even police the Congress and all their coincidental trades in the stock market. But it's like, hey man, make sure this plane's out on time. Yeah, sure thing, dog. Oh, wait, we forgot a bag. Hold on. And all right, you can go now. Go ahead. Come on. It's crazy. Crazy.
Number 5.
We're not even really going to go through this one. The Phillies let a golden opportunity slip away in a 2-1 loss to the Dodgers last night after a costly base running mistake.
JT, what are you doing, dude?
Ended the game in the 9th inning with the tying run just 90 feet away. JT Realmuto admitted a lap of judgment after retreating towards second base during a rundown, allowing LA to turn a game-ending double play. The mental error wasted another dominant outing from Zach Wheeler and served as a reminder that one mistake on the bases can erase an otherwise well-played game. What's more frustrating, losing because you're overpowered by great pitching or losing because of a mental mistake that was completely avoidable?
Did you hear John Kruk on the call?
Yes.
Oh, no, JT.
Yes.
He did the right
thing. He did the right thing too. He got to third base, which is what you're supposed to do in a rundown. But for some inexplicable reason, he went back.
That was the second base running blunder in that game. The first one was who's the new catcher for the Dodgers that came up that made his debut against the Padres? You know what I'm talking about?
Not Dalton Rushing?
No, the guy from Venezuela, right? I mean, he had the story. This guy, Shohei tries to turn a single into a double with 2 outs, and he starts jogging home, and he looks up right before he's like walking to the plate because he's not contested. He looks up, and they gunned Ohtani at second base. And literally, if he continued to jog, they would have scored. He actually gets called safe at second. They review it. Ohtani's out, and he hadn't touched home plate yet. Bang, inning over. No run. Hey, man, I thought everybody hustles out there. I thought everybody hustles. Don't the Dodgers hustle? Don't you hustle?
That's funny. Hustles. We got a tweet about that, actually.
Yeah. Everybody hustles. We'll get you an update on what's going on in the Bronx with the Yankees and the Pirates. We will also continue our Padres conversation when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego Summer Sports Station 97 to the Fan. North Wilkesboro officially back. Joey Logano reminded everyone why he's still one of NASCAR's biggest threats. Logano led an incredible 323 laps in NASCAR's first Cup Series points race at North Wilkesboro since 1996, holding off Denny Hamlin to earn his first win since May of 2025 and jump back into the chase field. Shane Van Gisbergen also impressed, leading 49 laps at a short track before finishing 5th. Meanwhile, in Formula One, Antonelli strengthened his championship lead with another dominant victory at the Belgian Grand Prix. George Russell retired after first lap contact, allowing Antonelli to extend his advantage to 50 points heading into Hungary. Historic returns, dominant performances, championship races are heating up as both NASCAR and Formula One head toward the most important stretch of their seasons. Did we get the official finish of the IndyCar race
we did.
On a Monday?
Yes.
IndyCar had to move to had to move their race to today because of a lot of unfortunate circumstances, but it looked like Paolo was winning anyway.
Alex Palou did win the race. So with IndyCar, we'll get through IndyCar quick before going back to NASCAR. IndyCar got the shaft yesterday. They're broadcasted on Fox, same as the World Cup. Their race started at 5:30, I think it was, p.m. So they were, after that match went on hold, after the match went to extra time, they were put on hold by Fox. So the IndyCar race could not start until after the trophy celebration for the World Cup was over.
Well,
which took place about an hour or so after the game had ended.
Mm-hmm.
By the time the trophy celebration was over, it was raining in Nashville. They lost the track after like an hour and a half of rain delay broadcast, and they forced to push the race to today. Race they could have gotten in had they just run on, say, FS1 or FS2. They had to postpone today due to rain. Because of heat, it was like ambient temperature was like 94, heat index made it 102. Because of extreme heat, they had to push the race back to, when they pushed the race back to today, they lopped off the final 25 laps. So instead of a 250 lap race, it was a 225 lap race. Just completely screwed over the entire time. They were expecting to get the biggest lead in that they could have possibly ever dreamed of, and instead ran a heat-shortened race on Monday.
That's the risk you take, right? It's the deal with media contracts. It's hard to take precedent over the World Cup.
Yeah,
and
especially if you're IndyCar.
Being on Big Fox and being on broadcast television, sometimes you have to deal with that kind of situation. But for NASCAR, historic wins headline another big weekend over the weekend. Another memorable weekend across the motorsports world. Joey Logano returned to victory lane for the first time more than a year with a dominant performance in NASCAR's long-awaited return to North Wilkesboro Speedway, while Formula One's championship picture tilted even further towards young star Kimi Antonelli after another commanding Mercedes victory at Spa. What was that?
Spa-Francorchamps.
Spa-Francorchamps.
in Belgium. Yes.
Let's talk about Logano. First.
Yes, North Wilkesboro Speedway officially returned as NASCAR's returned to NASCAR Cup Series points racing for the first time since 1996, and Joey Logano made sure everybody remembered it. Driving like the former Cup champion, fans remember, Logano led a career-high 323 of 450 laps and held off Denny Hamlin over the final 175 laps of the race to earn his first victory since May of last year. And it could not have come at a better time. With only 5 races remaining before the NASCAR playoffs begin, Logano vaulted back into a playoff position and reminded everyone that when Team Penske finds speed late in the season, they are always very, very dangerous. Denny Hamlin finished second after chasing Logano for nearly the entirety of the second half of the race, but simply could not get close enough to pass him. Gibbs continued another strong weekend with Hamlin, Briscoe, and Ty Gibbs finishing second, third, and fourth. Perhaps the biggest surprise, though, Shane Van Gisbergen, the New Zealander, led 49 laps on a short track and finished fifth, fifth, and only 6 cars finished on the lead lap in this race, proving he is becoming much more than just a road course specialist. And the big radio call from him once he took that lead in the first stage: "I'm leading. What the bleep do I do now?"
Championship picture is now tightened, though. Points battle took another dramatic swing. Tyler Reddick entered the night trying to keep pressure on Denny Hamlin, but saw his race unravel after contact with Alex Bowman bent the suspension of his 45 Toyota. Reddick limped home 30th and now trails Hamlin by 68 points. Ryan Blaney also lost valuable ground after a speeding penalty dropped him to an 11th place finish. With only 5 races remaining before the playoffs begin, Hamlin now
getting down to the final couple innings in New York. If the Pirates lose, it doesn't really impact too many things because the Diamondbacks won already. So if the Pirates lose, instead of the Pirates and Diamondbacks being tied for the final wild card spot, the Diamondbacks would jump into that spot as the last wild card team right now. And then Padres would be 1.5 games behind the Pirates. But they would still be 2 games back behind Arizona.
With another game still to play because it's a doubleheader in New York.
They got a doubleheader today. Arizona are they playing the A's again today? It's the last day they're playing the A's.
Did you see that poor guy on the A's yesterday?
Yeah, I did. I don't really want to talk about it. It sounds painful, and I want to throw up every time I see it.
If I'm him, I'm looking at social media and whoever announced that injury and going, "Brother, you couldn't pull a hockey and say lower body injury. Like, you had to say that. Come on."
That was like Craig Stammen talking about what happened to Matt Waldron. Did we need to do that to Matt Waldron in spring training?
That's true.
I mean, do we have to get specific? Is that because of betting? Is that because of trade? Well, we got to know specifics when he's going to come back. Oh, and see, you know what? Another consequence of opening up the gambling to everything. You got to know way too much personal information out there.
DraftKings needs to know if it was the right or left one.
Foul.
He draws the foul.
Is it not true, though?
I don't know how many times I had to explain to you on the fouls. You could say something that is stupid that I think is funny. It's still a foul. You could say something that is right, but if it's inappropriate, it's still a foul. I'm just saying. But foul on the chat, by the way, on the whole thing. Is this live? NASCAR? Really? You're talking about
That's
NASCAR?
That's also
foul. No, 2 fouls.
I mean, it literally says we're in a commercial break. I don't know how more specific it needs to be. I literally don't. I mean, look at. What does that say?
Weekly Major League Baseball update.
What's it say in the bold letters?
Listen on Odyssey.
Oh my God, I can't believe if anybody would see that instead. It's just
Amazing. 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. We're broadcasting live from the Bill House Studios. We know how. All of our guests join us on the SDCCU fan hotline. It's not Big Bang Banking. It's better. We do need a contestant for a midday sports standoff today. If you could take me down in sports trivia, you'd be qualified for a chance at our grand prize, a 2-night stay at Fontainebleau, Las Vegas, and $150 food and beverage credit. Oasis Pool Deck at Fontainebleau, Las Vegas is officially open for the season, offering a 6-acre elevated pool experience with 6 distinct pools and a beach. Enter to win a 2-night stay at Fontainebleau, Las Vegas, and $150 food and beverage credit. To book your stay, visit FontainebleauLasVegas.com. Now,
the way you said it, it sounds like Ann Beach.
I don't understand what they want. Live Beach? Live Beach? It's LIV. What is that supposed to be? Live Beach? A Live Beach? And Live Beach. Is it sponsored by Live Golf? I don't understand. I guess it's a nightclub. LIV? How do they want me to say it?
And again, it's for those of you who don't know, it's straight copied from.
I know. It is a poolside paradise for adults only. LIV Beach, Live Beach, is the ultimate day life destination on the Las Vegas Strip. Bumping beats, flowing cocktails, stunning atmosphere reminiscent of the French Riviera make it a one-of-a-kind enclave for fun in the sun.
He knows how to say enclave, but he doesn't know how to spell live.
It's not live, though. There's no E. It's just live, L-I-V. But that could be like multiple things. It could be Live Golf. It could be Roman numerals. It could be 54 Beach. It could. Could it not?
I would say, you know what? I would just say it from that. I would just say that from now on. Just 54 Beach, including 54 Beach.
54 Beach. Live Beach. I just... Why can't you just name it Live?
Because it's not swanky enough.
I guess. Make waves at Live Beach. That place looked packed on that photo that they had on the thing. On Fontainebleau. Yeah, because for a long time, this is why I got confused with Live Golf. Because it's Live Golf. And then somebody told me, it was like, well, they play 54 holes. So it's actually 54 golf. And like, I don't remember anybody calling it 54 golf. It was like, and they never really addressed anything about it.
Trust the process.
I guess. Bumping beats, man. Foul on one for putting bumping beats and then putting a beat emoji.
He draws the foul.
Could you imagine if you get there and that's what they have? They just have beats?
I mean...
One reason the YouTube chat also dropped 54 Beach sounds too young and hip for Elo. Foul.
He draws the foul.
Live Beach. Anyway, we'll get to that when we come back. Yankees and Pirates are tied at 3, top of the 9th. They brought in their closer with the game tied. Oh, no.
What a bunch of
Yankees
dopes.
are going to blow it. Runner on first with 1 out. We'll let you know if David Bednar gets out of it when we come back and get to our midday sports standoff.
One victory lane, climbing out of the truck. Make some noise one more time for your race winner of the Navy 250, Wayne Ray.
Yankees get out of the top half of the ninth inning. They're tied at 3 against the Pirates. Game 1 of a doubleheader. Padres could use the Yankees. They could use the Yankees' victory today, as much as it pains Mr. Marchese over there. That's that game. Red Sox look like they're about to win their 15th straight game.
Mm-hmm.
They have a doubleheader today too, right?
Yes, they do.
It is so hard to sweep a doubleheader in Major League Baseball. It's very difficult to do. It's difficult to do in any level of baseball. So if they complete the sweep of the doubleheader of the Baltimore Orioles, the Red Sox are really cooking. I mean, they're really on. They're already on a heater. They'd be even more on a heater. 14 straight wins. I mean, they have completely flipped their season upside down. I look at this, wild card race in the National League. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. It's the Braden Surprenant Show. San Diego's number one sports station, 97.3 The Fan. I look at the way that the standings are, Frank, and the Padres. They're about to be. I mean, they're still going to be 2 games out, regardless of the outcome of this game, because of the fact that the Diamondbacks are just going to flip from being tied with the Pirates to then being in the final spot with the Pittsburgh, being tied with the Pirates to now just being alone in the final spot of the wild card. But I watched this Pirates team play. Their bullpen is just rough, which I find funny. I mean, that Pirates blogger was like popping off about AJ Preller and all this other stuff. Did you see that tweet?
Yes.
It's so long, you had to be like the show more. And I'm just like, what is this? Like, this guy typed this out and was like, I'm going to hit send.
That's cool.
I was like, sick, dude. Nobody cares.
I'm not reading all that.
Yeah. I'm happy for you, though. Or I'm sorry it happened. Seriously.
Yankees are they just put their upcoming schedule up. They go to Philadelphia to start a road trip, and then they're spending a week in Chicago. They get the White Sox for 4, then the Cubs for 3.
Good. I need the Yankees to win a bunch of games. Yeah, this guy, what's he put? Like, he's a blogger for the Pirates, right? And he puts this whole thing out, and he's talking about, like, at the very end, he goes, Miller isn't worth the trade scenarios I'm seeing on this app. He is a closer. He pitches 60 innings a year, and I see people wanting to trade O'Neill Cruz and Jarrett Jones for him. Padres fans and AJ Preller are delusional if they think they will ever get the same value they traded to get him last year. Brother.
Pirates fans were about ready to trade O'Neill Cruz for a bag of rice at the beginning of the season. Now they won't even trade him for Mason Miller.
His trade last year to get Miller was one of the dumbest trades I've ever seen. Is Miller worth a good haul? Yes, but he is never worth what they traded for to get him. Talks about Johan Duran and all this other stuff. It's just, it's kind of funny coming from that guy that, like, I mean, he is like, there's a lot of good people out there that like have blogs. But the thing that like you lose me on with some of these blogs, it's like they can't take the fan hat off, and it's like they're just super. It's even a super fan mode. Hey man, I don't know. The Pirates have made the playoffs since 2015. I mean, they didn't even come close, and like you're gonna be puffing your chest out about what the Pirates are willing and not willing to give up for a guy like Mason Miller. I mean, Mason Miller would help you. You need more than him, dude. I mean, you need a miracle with that bullpen you guys got.
Speaking of which, today's starter was Mitch Keller. Who gave up the home run to Ben Rice?
Was it Mitch Keller? I have no idea.
It was Carmen Ledzinski.
Gesundheit.
What is...
I'm sorry, who?
Carmen Ledzinski.
I've never heard of that guy before.
He's a reliever.
I know.
He's a bullpen arm.
Yeah, they need bullpen help. Their bullpen is trash. But I look at this, I mean, the Pirates, they actually have had a pretty good offense this year. And their pitching staff, their starting staff's good. Bubba Chandler has been a little bit more of a disappointment than I think they were expecting, which also goes to show, like, not all these guys are going to pan out. But I look at this Pirates team and I go, like, they're not crazy good. I look at the Diamondbacks; they're not very good. The Diamondbacks have had a bottom five offense since May. Like, they literally have one of the worst offenses since May. Cardinals are falling back to earth. They're so young. They don't have pitching. Miami Marlins are rough. They have lost 8 games in a row. Washington has not. You think the Pirates pitching is bad, like bullpen wise? Look at the Nationals. These are teams you're competing with. The Cubs have no starting pitching. They are slugging their way to where they're at right now. Phillies one-dimensional. They just have pitching. They've played like crap the last couple of days against the Dodgers. I look at all of baseball right now. There's legitimately probably 3 good teams in Major League Baseball. And I think the third team is the Tampa Bay Rays, based on what they did at the beginning of the season, but even they have cooled off and have come back down to earth a little bit. Like, I think the White Sox are playing above expectations. Do you think the White Sox are a good baseball team? They're okay. This Yankees team I've watched play the last couple of days are okay. They're not like a team that's, man, they're just so good. There's like 2 of those teams. It's the Dodgers and the Brewers. Those are the 2 teams.
Sky in Boston's getting dark.
Uh-oh, you better win the first game. Could you imagine they go to a delay in the 9th inning of game 1 of a doubleheader? That would be rough. This thing's wide open. I'm just, and here's the thing that I'm curious. You know, I think this plays into the argument a little bit about the salary cap. I mean, could you imagine if they didn't have the 2 teams at the top and everybody was relatively the same? I mean, you'd be like you'd be right in the thick of things. You would actually believe you could win the World Series. I mean, did I ask you this on air or off air yesterday about if you took the Dodgers out of the equation, I guess the Brewers would be there too. But right now, the American League is so wide open that, yeah, if you are the Tigers, just getting in, you could advance through.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for the Dodgers, if you're a Padres fan, would you believe that? I'd believe it a lot more than with the Dodgers and the Brewers in there, which I know you can't take teams out, but I think it just goes to show just how mediocre most of the teams are in Major League Baseball right now. We're almost at that time. Let's see if we can get somebody qualified for a trip to Vegas. Let's get to the midday sports standoff.
Welcome to Midday Sports Standoff on the Braden Surprenant Show.
I can't believe what I'm seeing right now.
The ultimate head-to-head battle where sports knowledge and quick thinking collide.
No, it's no good. Are you kidding me?
Contestants will go toe-to-toe with Braden in a sports trivia deal where every correct answer brings them closer to victory.
Down the sideline! Wow! Unbelievable!
But 3 strikes and it's game over.
This is not Detroit, man. This is the Super Bowl.
Can you outsmart Braden? The Midday Sports Standoff starts now.
All right, Frankie, we got playing today.
We have Aaron in Point Loma. Aaron, how you doing today, bud?
Doing pretty well. How you guys doing?
Good. All right, so today's question, we talked about it a little bit earlier. Manny Machado has been on a power heater as of late, which to me asks myself the question, what Padres have hit the most home runs in a single season in Padre history? I will give you a hint. Manny Machado is not going to be on this list. The lowest number of home runs in a single season on this list is 34. So which Padres have hit 34 home runs or more? There are 10 potential answers in a single season. Aaron, you have the first guess.
Big Bond.
Number 1 hit 50 in 98.
Yes, that was number 1. I think a lot of Padres fans know that one. I'm going to go with somebody that's number 2 and is a current Padre. He hit one 474 feet last night. His name is Fernando Tatis Jr.
Number 2 did that in 2021, hit 42. Aaron?
Ken Caminetti.
Ken Caminetti is number 5 on this list. He hit 40 back in 96.
Let's go with the guy that led the Padres in all home runs for almost their entire existence, Nate Colbert.
Nate Colbert is number 6 on this list. He hit 38 twice, both in 1970 and 1972.
Phil Nevin.
Number 3 hit 41 in 2001.
Okay, so we have
1, 2, 3, 5, and
Vaughn,
6.
Tatis, Nevin was 1, 2, 3. We're missing 4. We have 5 in Caminetti, and we have Nate Colbert as 6.
Yes.
Okay. Surprisingly enough, a lot of people that don't like Juan Soto actually is on this list.
He hit 35 in 2023.
What number is he?
7 on the list.
He's right after Nate.
Aaron?
Let's see here. I am going to go with Ryan Klesko.
He has not hit at least 34 home runs this season. I believe he has hit over 30. There are 25 Padres in history that have hit over 30, but he has not made this list.
He did it a lot. I think a lot of people think him as a Dodger now, but Adrian Gonzalez.
Gonzo's done it twice. That's number 4. Number 4 because he hit 40 in 2009. He also hit 36 in 2008. Wasn't going to make you guess him twice. Aaron?
Steve Finley.
Nope, unfortunately not. So it's 2 strikes, Aaron. We're 8, 9, and 10 we're missing.
Okay.
Ooh. The most recent player to do this was 93 that's remaining on this list.
Okay, 93.
Oh,
the most
I know.
recent.
We have the top 7?
Yes.
93. That's like before they started getting good again. What about
It's 93 and later.
what about Fred McGriff, the crime dog?
He's number 8. He also hit 35. Aaron?
Gary Sheffield.
That's a good guess. Really?
No, unfortunately not. He did not hit at least 34, which is what the bottom is on this list. It's 3 strikes, Aaron, unfortunately. Braden, you would have needed one more to guarantee at least a tie. Or
All
actually,
right, so
yeah, one more to guarantee a tie.
is anybody 34? Is there anybody tied there, or is it just
Yes,
one
it's
guy?
2
so
guys
it's 2 guys
tied.
tied for 34. Okay. Well, you said they're older,
93 is the most recent.
so it's got to be older than 93.
The older
All right.
one was 79.
Oh,
McGriff-
79.
McGriff did it in 92.
79.
It's not as hard. It's
I
not like
I mean, I'm thinking about a guy that, like, I mean, at that point, like, there was only like one good player during that time. It was like Dave Winfield. Was he the one that did it?
Dave Winfield is the one who did it in 79, 34.
All right. Who was the last guy?
Phil Plantier.
Oh, Phil Plantier. Wow.
In 93 was the one who did it. So Greg Vaughn, Fernando Tatis Jr., Phil Nevin, Gonzo did it twice. Caminetti, Colbert did it twice. Soto, McGriff, Plantier, and Dave Winfield.
Wow.
Did I redeem myself from yesterday?
Absolutely. Yesterday
Thank
was
you.
rough, dude. Are you kidding me? Who played yesterday? Was it Mark, right? Something like that?
Sure.
I felt bad for him. You know what? At least Aaron gets some Mexican food. I'm jealous.
That's true.
I would rather have Mexican food than win the midday sports standoff.
Maybe we'll have a Mexican food topic for Friday.
Ooh, now we're really cooking there, Frank. Now we're really cooking there.
By the way, only two player days next month.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, at this point, we're in the 80s, right?
Yeah, we're
I mean,
in the
there's not a lot of
80s.
80s.
It's only two numbers in the 80s in Padre history that have ever been used. There's more in the 90s, as a matter of fact, than there are in the 80s.
Because Fernando never wore 84? Or did he wear it in a big league game? I know he was wearing it in spring training.
Yeah, that's probably why.
Yeah, let me go to the uniform. What do we got here? No, it's not uniforms. It's what's like all-time numbers, right? Isn't that on Baseball Reference? All-time numbers?
No, I mean 90s, as in like the jersey number 90.
Yes.
No, Augie in the
Augie
chat
in the chat.
said 90s equals steroid era.
Steroid numbers. Okay, where do I find that? I gotta think of the 80s. Because I don't think
jersey number.
I know it's like it's all like other uniform numbers. There we go. We'll get to that. Pirates have the go-ahead run, 90 feet away. Marcell Ozuna is still on the Pirates.
Ozuna for the Bucks?
I think I got DFA'd. They didn't cut him. They just put him like a phantom IL or something.
Ozuna from the Bucks.
Ozuna from the Bucks trying to take a lead. We'll see. We'll let you know how it goes. Red Sox. Did they win their 15th straight? I'll tell you that on the other end, too. Draymond Green himself was in studio. Not that Draymond Green. We had Dexter in Spring Valley stop by. How about that? Dexter in Spring Valley. It's good to put a face to the voice, if you will, and he hooked us up.
A face to the foul.
A face to the foul. That's right.
Yeah, we got some. We got some comics.
He dropped off some comic books because it's Comic-Con week. So I asked him. I was like, "Well, how often do you go to Comic-Con?" And he said he hasn't missed it since when? 1985.
I think so. Yeah.
Hasn't done it since 1980. Hasn't missed it since 1985. And did the Mets just turn it? Oh, it's a double play. Oh, like a triple play again. Pirates have taken a 4-3 lead on the Yankees. Nice job, Yankees. I can't trust the Yankees, man. What a shame. Anyway, he hasn't missed a Comic-Con since 1985. And it's because he works at Comic-Con because he used to work on a show. Mm-hmm. What was the show? What do you say?
I don't.
Robotech or something like that?
Yeah, I think so. Yes, Robotech.
So that's his little booth or whatever like that. I had never heard of Robotech, but apparently there's a movie from 1986.
Top Gun.
Yeah, they know. 1985 is when it came out.
Just a small movie. Never really made an impact or anything.
No, there's actually a Robotech movie. It came out in 1986.
Oh.
I think is what he said. But I guess there's a
video
game.
Top Gun came out in 86. That show came out in 85.
I know, but it says Robotech the movie 1986 film. I just looked it up.
Oh, well, there you go.
So yeah, he showed some of the designs and stuff like that. I couldn't remember exactly what he said that he did on the show, but he still does the booth and everything like that, which is kind of cool. So good to have him stop by. That was great. It was pretty awesome. And do we have, and I think we do, where's the sounder?
Where is that sounder? Gee, I don't know. Maybe it's right here.
We got ourselves a lineup. Padres getting ready to take on the Atlanta Braves today. It will be Michael King going against Martin Perez. Starts at 4:15 Pacific time. Equal Water SoCal Padres pregame show at 3:15. Pirates now have a 5-3 lead. You know, this is a perfect game of teams that need bullpen arms.
Proving why they need bullpen arms.
Now, before we get to the lineup, I do have to say this was out there today. John Heyman saying, Wandy Peralta getting looked at. Wandy Peralta,
former Yankee, he knows.
He knows the air. We always get from our resident Yankees fan Adam Paul in the YouTube chat that it takes a special breed of person to actually play for the Yankees.
And finally, though, we can fulfill the dream of every single national pundit trying to trade Padres to the Yankees.
Yeah, Wandy Peralta. They could use Wandy Peralta right now. I'm going to tell you that right. Seriously.
Fernando Cruz is not doing well at the current moment.
No. Yeah, John Heyman said Wandy Peralta is being actively discussed in trades. He looks good. You know what? We got to Photoshop a photo. We got to Photoshop a picture of him in a Yankees uniform. See what he looks like. I bet he looks pretty good in a Yankees uniform.
Wandy Peralta.
You hang out with Tim Hill.
Hold on. Hold on.
Can you find? Yeah, can you see if you could do that for us? Just in case. I just want to kind of see what it looks like. I mean, they could use a guy like Wandy Peralta. They had Tim Hill back there. I mean,
you know what?
Do they need a Yuki Matsui?
I could do you even better. I can give you a full-on welcome graphic.
Oh, yeah. Let's see what he looks like.
Full-on welcome graphic with Wandy Peralta in a Yankee uniform, just for all of the national pundits. We like Wandy Peralta here on this show.
He's good.
Yeah,
he's been solid.
Yeah, we love him here on this show. He's been very, very good. But yeah, that's if you wanted to see what. Wow,
you put that together so fast.
I know, right?
That looks great.
It's almost as if it's happened already.
I know.
So
nice.
there you go.
You know what? He looks good in the Yankees uniform. I think he'd look good there. He'd
look much better than Mason Miller.
Yeah, I think so. 100%.
Mason Miller wouldn't look good in pinstripes.
Yeah. Padres actively discussing Wandy Peralta in trade talks. That
is all while knowing that the Padres have pinstripes on there.
AI is amazing. I can't believe I didn't know how much of a wizard you are at Photoshop. That was fast.
It's one of my many talents.
you see that foul in the YouTube chat, by the way? The one guy that had to drop in. Wandy Peralta's he's already been a Yankee. We know that, dude. You don't ruin the joke, buddy. We don't ruin the joke. There's another guy. He used to be a Yankee. That's the whole point of the joke, guys. It's right over their head. Come on. That's a tech. On the chat.
Foul. No, 2 fouls.
The best part, though, was like the best part is the guy's account says you got jokes. He obviously doesn't have jokes. And he'll put like I was being sarcastic to try to play it cool. It's like, come on, man. If you knew it, and knew that's what we were talking about, could have played it cool, man. Could have played it cool. Be cool, Yolanda. That pitch to be cool.
Juan in chat. Thank you very much, Juan.
Did you know? Hey, did you know this, Frank? Did you know this? Did you know Antonio Gates played basketball in college? Did you know that?
Did you know that Pete Crow Armstrong's mom is the mom from Little Big League?
Did you know? What? Really?
I didn't know that.
Didn't know that either. You know, Fernando Tatis Jr.'s dad hit 2 grand slams in the same inning?
Really?
Off Chan-Ho Park?
Wow.
Did you know that?
Did you know the Mets are a visually pathetic baseball team?
I did know that. Yeah, that wasn't. Did you know that Bartolo Colon hit a home run against James Shields?
I was actually there for that. I was actually in attendance for that. I saw that in person. I was at that moon landing.
Oh, man. Don't ruin the joke. This is about to be a rout, man. Pirates up 5-3 now.
Brian Reynolds is falling off a cliff.
What happened to Brian? Remember the former Padre?
He signed a contract and then went completely downhill.
Who saw that one coming? Former Padres trade targets, Brian Reynolds. Joey Gallo's still available? You can get Joey Gallo on the phone. I heard he wanted to be a pitcher. Classic. Okay.
No, you wanted Joey Gallo? Thought you were looking for Joey Callo, Callo.
Oh, no. What is Brian Reynolds playing this year? What is he? I mean, I haven't heard one thing about him in
years.
I know. I remember he wanted to, like, he was asking to get traded because he wanted his big contract, and then people felt bad for him because, like, the Pirates are cheap, right? What is he doing this year? Oh, he's not doing too bad. He's in 282. It's not terrible.
Did we go over the lineup? Or
he's got a 3.7 WAR this year. He's fine.
Did we?
No, I'm going to get to that in a second.
Okay, I was going to say because
he's hitting 282 with an 873 OP. He's having like arguably one of his best years. Come on, man. What do you mean he fell off a cliff? Why, he struck out against the Yankees? It's like falling off a cliff?
You know what?
I haven't heard from him because it's all about their pitching over there in Pittsburgh, but he's got a 3 point. He's got this best year he's ever had.
That is, you know what? That's fair. He's in a central division.
That's true.
And as we know, the central division of each league is baseball purgatory.
It is.
So
what's worse, being in the NL?
Apologize.
What's worse, being in the Central Division or being on the Angels?
Ooh.
What gets you forgotten more?
I would say being specifically in the American League Central, because at least with playing in Anaheim, you can at least go to Disney.
What does that have to do with being like people paying attention to you?
You can't be irrelevant and go to Disney in Kansas City. You can do that in Anaheim.
I think it's worse being on the Angels. At least you have like maybe some traditional teams in the Central. Maybe. Well, here's the other thing too. With the Angels, they're never on TV in the middle of the day because they play like 6:38 all the time.
You know what's funny?
So you know what? It might be better if if you're on an AL Central team.
Hold on a second. You know what's funny? While you say that, I'm going to click on the TV guide right here. What game is supposed to be playing right now?
Oh, no. It's supposed to be Cardinals and Angels.
Angels are never on in the middle of the day.
They never are. And you know what? I'm still right because the Yankees game went to extra innings. Yankees are about to tie this thing in the bottom half of the 10th just so Cardinals and Angels won't be on the air.
Are the Cardinals Angels about to get the IndyCar treatment? Everything stops until Yankees Pirates is done.
They're about to. Yep, that's probably true. Did you honestly think that they were going to cut out of a Yankees game on MLB Network to get you what was actually supposed to air? And the only reason why they're airing this game is because it is the game one of a doubleheader and it wasn't supposed to be played this early.
I just looked over at the screen. Mike Kilburn, thank you. Thank you. So nice.
I love my fans.
You guys are awesome.
All right, let's get to the starting lineup. I think we got to play the sounder again. Every time you do that, you owe Scravy 50 cents.
Okay.
So I wanted you to do it twice. Now you owe him $1. Today's starting lineup for the Padres, 4:15, first pitch, 3:15, Equal Water SoCal Padres pregame show with Sam Levitt. Fernando Tatis Jr. will lead things off. Luis Rengifo batting second. He's been doing pretty well.
He's had a very, very good start to his Padres tenure.
He is the designated hitter. Manny Machado bats third and plays third. Ty France bats cleanup and plays first base. Jackson Merrill in center field bats fifth. Luis Camposano bats sixth and is the catcher. Xander Bogaerts bats seventh, plays shortstop. Jake Cronenworth bats eighth and plays second base. Jace Bowen batting ninth and playing left field.
So the slumping Gavin Sheets gets time to rest and gets a day to look at the ball, look at the game from a different angle.
That is correct. I don't mind giving Gavin Sheets a day off. He has been in a rough patch. It'd be nice to get Jackson Merrill going a little bit. I can't believe how much he has, how poorly he has played this year on the offensive side of things. He hit a home run yesterday. You're starting to see him hit a little bit more home runs. I don't know what gets him so eager to chase pitches that are just nowhere near the zone. I mean, he is swinging just at almost everything, it seems like.
I want to see if I got this right, because the funniest thing I have to find it again.
Are you talking to us?
Well, I kind of was.
Are you talking out loud? What's going on? What are you looking for?
I think I just saw something about Fernando Tatis Jr. is doing a Make-A-Wish. Yeah, here it is. ESPN 2 hours ago, her one wish was to meet her favorite player, Fernando Tatis Jr., Make-A-Wish. Fantastic. You love that. This is coming the day after ESPN announced that it's breaking its partnership.
That was fake, dude. That wasn't real. Did you just got on the radio?
I didn't get settled. I know that. I have blocked all of the Sentinel accounts, so that's not a thing.
I saw a reader's note that said they have not done that.
Well,
so
there you go.
Let's see. Yahoo Australia had it. Did ESPN end its Make-A-Wish partnership amid company-wide cost-cutting measures on Tuesday? In bold all caps. No, definitely not. The troll account Wesley Steinberg shared his report as a way to trick people amid Tuesday's real layoffs at the company, but this Make-A-Wish post is absolutely not true. Again, Steinberg is a known troll account with a history of trying to confuse people into thinking absolute garbage like this is real. That was the exact quote from the article. Time to fire up the Curb Your Enthusiasm theme.
Well, not even that. It's also we fire up the block machine as well, so that won't happen again. Still not a fan of the four-letter network. Doesn't matter.
I can't believe you derailed the show about owff the rails. We were off the rails anyway. I I gotta check this. I had no idea who you're talking to.
We were off the rails to begin with.
Out of the
this
chat,
segment.
Frank, what do you think the Onion's got on the? What do you think the Onion has about the Padres trading Mason Miller?
It's happening. He's getting traded to.
You know what?
He's getting traded to the Trash Pandas.
Have you used the Babylon Bee for our sports thread a couple of times on accident? You know that's not a real paper, right? You
Dude, yes.
Okay.
As someone who lived in Babylon, I know that the Babylon Bee is not real.
Oh man, that was hilarious. I needed that. I was like, no.
Strategic comedic relief, guys. Right?
Man, did you give yourself a foul
strategic comedic relief. That's where it's
Foul. No, 2 fouls.
I'll take a double tech on that.
Double tech. That means you got to get. That means you go. That means Adam's got to come in here and run the rest of the show.
Well, no, that's 4. No, that's
double technical. You're gone, dude. That's how you get. You can't get a double technical.
I'm doing the rest of the show for
Did
free.
you know that Wanda used to be a Yankee, Frank? Did you steal that photo? I thought you did that yourself. Did you know Wandy Peralta used to be a Yankee?
That one I did know. That one I did know.
I thought you were just super good at Photoshop.
No.
Oh, man.
No.
The Yankees are so bad, there's a pigeon playing shortstop for them now.
I'm going to do something I've never thought I'd do. I'd apologize to ESPN.
Do we think Jazz Chisholm
mistake.
Jr. is going to get out of this thing? But who, by the way, is 4 for 17 on ABS challenges this year?
Forget about that. He's 0 for 4 in the game.
That's even worse. I thought you meant ABS challenges, and I was like, excuse me. Well, Jazz isn't very good at it, so he gets 2 extra himself because the umpires need to laugh at some of the challenges that he tries to challenge.
Right.
That's a foul.
He draws the foul.
Rod must be watching on delay. Did you know Adam Klug had an afro? Yes, we did. Thank you to the morning show for bringing that up. Was it extra sweet because it happened against the Dodgers?
Oh,
was it extra sweet? At this point, you might as well play the Scraby one.
I think Rod's about to get ejected.
It's really raining really hard outside. All right, I'm done with this. When we come back,
San Diego FC is coming back.
San Diego FC is back tonight. We'll talk about it when we come back. The All-Star break is done, which means we got something on the horizon. NFL training camps are going to start up this week, and it's officially here for some NFL players. This season could define their entire career. Shedeur Sanders is trying to prove he's the Browns' franchise quarterback. CJ Stroud needs to take Houston deeper into the playoffs before earning a massive extension. Michael Penix Jr. has to win Atlanta's quarterback competition while Baker Mayfield's playing for another huge payday. And there's stars like Rashee Rice, Keon Coleman, Nick Bosa, who all have different reasons why 2026 is a make or break season. Every year, training camp creates breakout stars, exposes players who aren't ready. Biggest question is simple: who handles the pressure and who lets moments slip away? Training camp begins, and so does the pressure, Frank, as we get started to start talking about the NFL season right around the corner.
Yeah, NFL training camps are officially underway, and while every player is fighting for a roster spot or a starting role, some have much more than that on the line than others. For several players around the league, this season isn't just another year. It's a defining moment for their careers, whether it's proving their franchise quarterbacks, earning massive contract extensions, or simply just trying to keep a job. The pressure has never been higher on some of these players.
Let's talk about the quarterback position. That's always a area of, high stress and high expectations, and it always dominates the conversation. Shedeur Sanders enters perhaps the biggest season of his young career in Cleveland. Browns are still searching for the franchise quarterback, and Sanders does have an opportunity to prove he is the answer. If he develops into a reliable starter, Cleveland may no longer need to spend another high draft pick on a quarterback.
I've heard that for every quarterback they've had in the last, I don't even know, probably my entire life at this point. But if he struggles, the Browns could be right back in the quarterback market next offseason. For me, this is a make or break year for Shedeur Sanders. I thought he was smoke and mirrors in college. He does throw a good ball. He is very athletic. I don't necessarily know it translates to the NFL. I thought that him getting drafted to Cleveland the Browns' reaction in their war room when he got drafted was so bizarre.
Especially after they picked Dylan Gabriel, too.
It doesn't make a lot of sense. I'm kind of tired of this narrative already, like with Shedeur, and he might be the best quarterback in their quarterback room, considering everybody else that is there. But I just don't see him being an NFL quarterback year in and year out that can lead you to a Super Bowl. I mean, I think there's different tiers, and without getting through those tiers, I just don't see this working out for Cleveland this season. And I think they do end up having to draft another quarterback in the near future.
Yeah, I don't see it either, unfortunately, for them. Cleveland's just been a revolving door for quarterbacks. And unfortunately, I don't think it changes much. Michael Penix Jr. in Atlanta, already feeling the pressure despite being a few seasons into his career. Falcons invested heavily in him, but now he has to beat out veteran Tua Tagovailoa while proving he's worthy of long-term commitment. That feels like a pretty big hill to climb. Tagovailoa wasn't necessarily horrific in Miami. Those concussions, though, kept mounting up for him, and it really kind of put him on the back foot there.
Atlanta's interesting, too, because they haven't really committed to any quarterback, right?
Other than Matt Ryan.
They sign Kirk Cousins, and then they draft Michael Penix Jr., and then Michael Penix Jr. he's been okay in Atlanta after he took over for Kirk Cousins, but then they go out and get Tua Tagovailoa on the free. I mean, they haven't been committed to really any quarterback since Matt Ryan, as you mentioned. And, I wonder if the revolving door in the backup spot always rears its ugly head with this team, where they're always, where the starting quarterback's always looking over his shoulder. You want to be able to get competition and create competition and have guys be at their best, but you also don't want to have the starting quarterback worrying about what's behind him more than just focusing on himself in the future. So I don't necessarily know Atlanta's approach to the quarterback position has been good or ideal, but it's going to be interesting to see who wins that quarterback battle, because as you mentioned, Tua wasn't bad. I mean, he's shown a lot of good signs in Miami. I think the biggest problem was he didn't have that great of an offensive line. The defense in Miami hadn't been very good. Yes, he was the benefit of a lot of weapons, but I think he's got potential to be pretty decent in Atlanta if he is protected. I think it's going to be an interesting quarterback battle there. But then there's CJ Stroud in Houston. Now he's getting close to a contract, right? I mean, he's getting close to being off of his rookie deal. His first year, I thought when he got drafted, I thought he was the best going into the draft. I thought he was the best option in the NFL draft that year. He proved me right in the first year, but since then he's been very mediocre for Houston. I think Houston's defense has been able to carry them to playoff aspirations. We have Padres baseball tonight. We also have San Diego FC game tonight. Silly downside about them taking a little bit of a hiatus with the World Cup. Yes. Got to forget that they were
San Diego FC. We kind of need, if you could send us a sounder for that, we can really hype it up. Yeah. Oh, the lineup sounder.
You need a San Diego FC sounder?
Yeah, if we can get a
Don't they make a noise or something like that at the thing? Don't they hit some button and something goes off?
Yeah, those are called rockets. I can't.
Something
tells me pyro would be highly frowned upon.
Isn't there something they do before the game starts that they have celebrities
Yeah, they have the giant. Yeah, they have the giant
ball.
They
shoot off fireworks. That's what that does.
Yeah,
it doesn't make a noise. It's not a siren or something.
No, it shoots off pyro.
Oh,
they put the ball on the pedestal, and then pyro goes off.
How many times we got to watch this Mets Brewers situation? Too many times. Okay. San Diego FC midseason reality check. They're back. It's good to have them back. But the honeymoon is kind of over. After one of the greatest expansion seasons in MLS history last year, reaching the Western Conference Final, earning the number 1 seed. San Diego FC has now crashed back down to reality as we kind of recap what happened in the first half of this season. They're 4-6-5. They're 12th in a 15-team Western Conference. They're outside the playoff picture today, getting ready for a game tonight, although MLS allows 9 teams into the postseason. Despite the disappointing first half, the organization, though, isn't panicking. Head coach Mikey Varas and sporting director Tyler Heaps openly admitted the club has underperformed instead of hiding behind excuses. And that level of accountability, obviously, is a big positive going into the second half of the season. Tyler Heaps said it a couple of weeks ago when, they're starting to gear back up for the second half of the season, and it wasn't an excuse. He was just saying factually, and they have to be better in the final 10 minutes, but they've played really good soccer for 80 minutes of games. The problem is you have to play a good 90 minutes, and that is where they have run into a lot of their issues, but it's not because they don't have the talent. It's not because they're a bad team per se. They need to learn how to finish. They had a lot of youth in the defense, a lot of red cards early in the season, and they've blown a lot of games late. Do you think this time off is something where they can, and I don't know, a lot of them are playing internationally as part of the World Cup, but this seems like the break was a great reset for these guys to get back in action and gear back up for the second half. And in the second half, that they're going to have to jump out to a good lead.
Yeah, there weren't too many that went to the World Cup, and CJ Dos Santos, I don't think, played at all in Cape Verde's run. So it'll be interesting to see for sure. So they got a month of rest. It's a good time that they could have used to just reset and try to recalibrate and work on what needed to be worked on. And it's also a solid return. You're playing the Colorado Rapids tonight, who are 5-1-9 on the season, 9 losses on the season. And then over the weekend, you're coming back home in front of your home crowd over the weekend, where you get FC Dallas, a team that you've handled pretty well before Minnesota and before starting to get into some of the tougher teams again. You get Leagues Cup as well against America, TJ, and Puebla. So you get kind of a slow ramp up into this season before the tougher games start to hit. So solid start tonight against the Colorado Rapids will be huge for San Diego FC.
We're talking about, like, in the first half, they left 11 points on the table after failing to finish a lot of the matches. And, it was blowing games late. It was not having enough depth. And Mikey Varas admitted it indirectly, like when starters were injured, when players received red cards, which happened way too many times in this season. And when the schedule became brutal, and it was, and we're going to get to that in a second, the replacements weren't good enough to keep up. And that's what separated this year's team from last year's team, is they had the depth a little bit more last year than they have this year. And that matters in the MLS because the schedule becomes ridiculous at times. And the schedule was brutal. I mean, they dealt with the Champions Cup, multiple trips to Mexico City, altitude, short rest, international call-ups, injuries, red cards. I mean, these are all like excuses because every MLS team deals with chaos. But again, like, it goes both ways. They went through the ringer in the first half, and they had opportunities to get out of it, but the lack of depth definitely showed in the first half of this season.
You said how many points did they give up? Did they leave on the table?
11. I would have put them squarely into a playoff spot.
They're third right now. They're a point ahead of LAFC in third right now. Right. If they get those 11 points. So yeah, it's for San Diego FC getting out and getting into this getting into a groove, getting into their rhythm, getting into their flow is massively important. And right now, you're currently in the middle, or you're getting ready to go into the summer transfer window, which is the big international transfer window. So that's also working. You've had the reports of Mohamed Salah coming over from Liverpool. Rumors abound, and again, take it with a grain of salt, especially with what Idiot said last segment. There's the rumor out there that if he were to come here, if Salah were to come here, there's the potential he could get an ownership share out of it as well. That would be a huge name to pair with Amal Pellegrino and Anders Dreyer to just run through the Western Conference in the MLS this season. So big. There's a lot that San Diego FC needs to get back to from last season. And this right here was the perfect time off to do it before it really got out of control. And now it's time to implement.
Tom Krasovic had a column about San Diego FC getting ready for the second half of the season. And in that column, he suggested that, maybe they weren't as good as the record last year. I mean, if you think about this year, it brings up an interesting point. I mean, San Diego FC in 3 of their 4 wins had benefited from playing struggling teams this season. I mean, they beat CF Montreal. San Diego FC crushed them before they fired their coach. Austin FC. Austin practically waved the white flag because of travel issues. Sporting Kansas City. Worst goal differential in the MLS. And the only other win, St. Louis, currently below 500. I mean, obviously, San Diego's record looked stronger than the actual quality of wins as they have beaten a lot of bad teams. But, the good news entering the second half, Yepi Tverskov returns. That's huge for this team. Everyone is healthier than they were at the beginning part of the season. And Mikey Varas wants faster soccer, specifically quick turnovers, faster tempo, less reliance on hopeful long balls. And the admission that the offense became too predictable. I think you could trust in a guy like Mikey Varas. I think you are not going to see this team struggle for very long, and hopefully that starts today with them kind of tweaking some things after a very important first year of their tenure.
And a lot of that comes because of the internal accountability that they have. You're hearing a lot of Mikey Varas saying there's a lot of things that I have done wrong, that we have as a game plan. Granted, you're not going to throw every single player under the bus every time they make a mistake, but still, to get the level of accountability that you're getting, not just from the players, but also from the coaching staff and management with San Diego FC, that is a major reason why you can and should believe that they will get this turned around. And it starts tonight against Colorado, who is just behind them in the standings. Unfortunately, though, Colorado actually, they've lost 3 games at home. They have not drawn a game at home yet. They've been a lot worse on the road than they have been at home. But the Rapids, not a good team. Next up, they've got FC Dallas, who is a good team, but they've handled FC Dallas very well in their short history. So these are going to be 2 important games.
The Chucky Lozano situation is still unresolved, which I don't know how much of a distraction it really is for these players. Maybe it is because he's around he's there all the time, but he's one of your designated players. Yeah. I mean, you're playing at a disadvantage right now by only having 1 designated player.
Yeah, and again, part of it is also because you have 2. They couldn't get rid of him during the winter transfer period. Now, instead of 1 month in January, you have 2 months here to try to work a move. So I would have to assume they're going to find a way to get Lozano off the books in some way, shape, or form. And this transfer period is going to be very, very crucial for them throughout the remainder of the season, for the rest of the season.
Upcoming schedule, they got the Leagues Cup, 3 Liga MX opponents, then 9 matches in only 43 days. Depth going to determine a lot here. And schedule gets hot. The schedule gets harder. It's not going to get any easier than it already was.
And the schedule is going to be even harder now this year because of the crunch of the World Cup. You won't have to worry about this next time the World Cup comes around because they will have switched over to the winter, the European schedule.
Well, it gets going to get crunched, and then they're doing the flip next year.
Yeah,
right?
Then they're doing an abbreviated season before a long layover. And then they're in the winter season, where instead of talking about San Diego FC in the middle of their season now, we're doing season previews as they get set to kick off in a couple of weeks.
6:40 tonight at Dick's Sporting Goods Park, Commerce City, Colorado. San Diego FC, Colorado Rapids on Apple TV tonight. When we come back, we'll put the preview of the Padres and Braves. Go through the lineup again. Give you our bold predictions. Can the Padres take a 2-1 series lead? We'll talk about it next.
140 on the Braden Surprenant Show. Final segment of the Braden Surprenant Show for a Wednesday. May or may not be on tomorrow, depending on how the Padre game goes. So I will be ready to go. I'm on call, as they say. Like a doctor. Haha. All right, let me ask you this question. Have you ever seen the movie Days of Thunder?
Of course.
Of course. Did you know that? I think this is accurate. I got to make sure I'm not movie Central instead of movie Central.
No, as far as I know, there is a Days of Thunder 2 that's in production.
Yes, Days of Thunder 2 is moving forward with Tom Cruise returning to star in the movie.
Yes.
Filming is eyeing to begin in early 2027. I'm in on that. That's from the Hollywood Reporter.
Yeah, I'm in on that.
I haven't seen Days of Thunder in a long time.
It's a
good movie.
There's a mistake that they left in there.
Oh, I heard about that. What happened again?
Remember the scene when Cole and Rowdy are walking by the lake?
Yeah.
And the girlfriends are there with them?
Mm-hmm.
And Rowdy introduces his girlfriend to Cole. She doesn't say, hello, Cole. She says, hello, Tom. And they left it in.
They left it in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody ever notices it because everybody knows that Tom Cruise is Tom Cruise. I just saw that post, by the way, that you talked about earlier with Framber Valdez getting walking off in the bottom of the first inning as he had given up 5 earned runs and had the bases loaded with 2 outs. And the quote was, Framber Valdez with a yes hitter.
Mm-hmm.
You get a hit. You get a hit. Everybody gets a hit. All right, let's talk about the Padres game tonight. It is Michael King and it is Martin Perez. They did not face off against each other here in San Diego, but they have both faced each other's teams this year, in which the Padres have seen Martin Perez this year once, and the Braves have seen Michael King. Let's talk about Martin Perez first, since he will be the first pitcher out there today in the game. In the 5-2 victory for the Padres on June 24th against Martin Perez, he went 4 innings, allowing 3 earned runs on 4 hits, gave up a home run to Ty France, walked 4 batters, which is a season high for this year, tied for a season high. We had walked 4 Detroit Tigers on April 28th and had 4 strikeouts against the Padres. So Padres obviously got to him pretty early. It will be an interesting lineup for the Padres today. Luis Rengifo is the number 2 hitter today against the left-handed throwing Martin Perez. Luis Rengifo has had good numbers against left-handed pitching in his career. He bats second. Fernando will lead things off tonight. Manny Machado bats third. Ty France, who hit a home run against Martin Perez last time out, is batting cleanup. Ty France hitting 282 with an 890 OPS. He has been such a huge contributor to this team this year. Definitely going to be interesting to see what they do at the trade deadline with Ty France potentially, as he is a bat that probably a lot of teams would want. Jackson Merrill is batting 5th and playing center field. Luis Camposano bats 6th and catches. Xander Bogaerts bats 7th and is at shortstop. Jay Cronenworth bats 8th and is the second baseman, and Jace Bowen will bat 9th and play left field for the Padres against Martin Perez. In terms of Michael King, this was one of his better starts of the year when he went against the Atlanta Braves. This is tied for the longest outing he had this season. He went 7 innings against Atlanta here at Petco Park. He had gave up 6 hits, no earned runs, no runs at all, no home runs, no walks, 5 strikeouts. Michael King, very efficient against this Atlanta Braves team, so hopefully he can keep that going tonight against Atlanta. They're going to have Baldwin, Albies, Olsen, Harris, Riley, Yastrzemski, Dubon, Jarvis, the Claremont Chieftain, and Hicklin is the starting 9 for the Atlanta Braves tonight in the matchup. I talked a lot about the situation the Padres are in right now. I mean, just because they win doesn't mean it's time to buy, and just because they they lose, it means it's time to sell. I had the Padres before this road trip started. Talked about it on the roundtable. I thought they would take 2 out of 3 from Kansas City. I thought they'd split with Atlanta. I thought they'd lose 2 out of 3 to Miami. That might be flipped right now.
if the Padres can win today and set up for a chance to split in tomorrow's game. I don't have a lot of confidence in tomorrow's game just based on the pitching matchup alone. I know the pitching matchups are important. They're not that important, but when you have Chris Sale going against Griffin Canning, I find it hard to really think, where the Padres are at right now, that they're going to be exceptionally good with Griffin Canning on the mound. And we talked about it earlier on the show today. And if you missed it, go back and watch or go on Fangraphs and just see what this offense has done for the Padres in the last month. I mean, we talked about where the Padres offense has been since May 30th when Fernando hit his first home run. But if you go back to June 22nd, just like the last 25 games for the Padres, they're a top 5 offense in baseball right now. I mean, they are hitting the ball way better than they were before. This is not like a week. This is not 2 weeks. This is not, one homestand, one road trip. This is about a month's worth of games that the Padres have played, in which they have a top 5 offense in almost every statistical category across the board. It's top 10 for probably the other spots. They don't have too many stats in which they're not top 10 in right now with the offense, which is great because you're starting to see this offense turn into what they were expecting to turn into. The biggest problem, of course, is it too little too late? So for the narrative of what they are in the season, obviously it's going to look like they don't have that great of an offense, but I care more about what they've been playing like lately than what they played like in April. Sure, this could be just a good month stretch. I mean, you've seen other teams in baseball do that, but I think the offense is finally starting to turn into what you would expect them to turn into. It's just whether or not they have done it in a timely manner, because there's only a handful of games left, obviously. I mean, we're getting down to the last 60-something games left of the season, where this turns into a sprint here at the end of the year. But on the contrary to that, with the offense now being a top 5 offense in Major League Baseball over the last month, the pitching staff has been a bottom 5 pitching staff in Major League Baseball in the same amount of time. It's been a complete role reversal for this team, offense and pitching. At the first couple of months, this pitching staff was carrying this team, and the offense was the worst in Major League Baseball. And now it's completely flipped, where the offense is the only thing keeping this team alive, and the pitching staff has failed to do their job. Now, there are injuries involved, and the Padres kind of wasted, I think, a lot of the saving that the pitching staff had done. But based on all of that, you can understand why this team is around 500. Mike Gosling said it on our show yesterday, and I agree. They got to get to 500 before you start thinking about the playoffs. But it's the fact that they're 2.5 games out. They're right there. And they're 2.5 games out because the Pirates won the first game of a doubleheader today. And hopefully the Yankees can win game 2. We got other results out there that are worth paying attention to, obviously, as we're starting getting into that point. Cardinals trying to avoid getting swept by the Angels today. Angels got a couple of guys on with one out in the bottom of the third of a scoreless game. Nationals and Rockies are in action today in Colorado. Padres could use a Rockies win against the Nats. They've just completed 5 innings already. They're going to the 6th inning, and it's 1-0 Nats in that particular contest. Diamondbacks have doubled up the A's so far. They're up 2-1 after 4 in Arizona. So Padres need an A's victory, if at all possible. And then games and results later on today. Probably need the Dodgers over the Phillies in the grand scheme of things. But if the Phillies win and you beat the Braves, Phillies are one step closer potentially passing Atlanta, which I think actually helps you in the long run. And then the Astros and the Marlins and Tigers and Cubs are the other games that you should be paying attention to later on this afternoon. But Padres 4:15 start today. Equal Water SoCal Padres pregame show with Sam Levitt at 3:15. Bold prediction wise, Fernando's been on a tear. Manny's been on a tear. It really is like Jackson Merrill hasn't really been that on a tear. I mean, he had a home run yesterday, but I think, you know what? I'm going to go. He has been awful as of late. But I think, Xander just missed one yesterday. Since three of the four big four on this team hit a home run yesterday, my bold prediction is Xander hits a home run today. That's my bold prediction. Hopefully Michael King can get you 6 innings. That would be fantastic. Haven't seen that a lot this year, but I'll go with Xander Bogaerts hitting a home run as my bold prediction. My second bold prediction would be Ty France hits a home run in the first inning off Martin Perez. He's already done it before, and he continues to be on a heater. That would be my super bold prediction. We only got a couple of minutes left. Frank and I are catching up on some stuff. What is your bold prediction for the night?
Michael King goes 7.
Michael King goes 7 again against the Braves.
Mm-hmm.
All right. That's fair enough. Be nice to see the Padres beat up on Atlanta again. I mean, they have had Atlanta's number for the last, I don't know how many games. It seems like it's been in a row. And if it wasn't for a catcher's interference, I mean, you were tied at 2, basically. Both teams hit home runs. And you had the catcher's interference on Monday, which is frustrating. You can go back to a lot of frustrating losses, but that's they can't have too many more of those. And the 2 most frustrating losses so far the second half of the season are obviously Friday and then yesterday. I mean, sorry, not yesterday, 2 days ago. Both of those are not as frustrating if you have a good first half. You just flush it. But now it's like you're running out of you're getting into DEFCON 2, almost DEFCON 1 levels right now with this team going into the trade deadline and then just after. I mean, we've talked a lot about why it's not, at least it doesn't make sense to us to trade Mason Miller away. I know a lot of other people want to see like drastic change and players getting sold at the deadline. And I just think that's at that point you would be emotionally making a decision, which usually never ends well. But even then, as much as you would be in a position of, I don't think it's worth selling Mason Miller. I don't necessarily know if there's anything out there that the Padres could potentially trade for to help them. I mean, they're in a weird spot right now with the way that the market is because of the fact that the extra wild card has kept a lot more teams in the race and teams not wanting to give up on potentially making the playoffs, even though there's a lot of teams that aren't going to do well running deep into the playoffs. The trade deadline has not been as fun as it's been in years past, unless you're the Padres, in which AJ Preller just makes these crazy trades out of nowhere that nobody's ever talking about and nobody ever has the scoop on. So I don't see this as, it's not a buyer's market. It's definitely a seller's market. I don't know if the Padres win a couple of games here and get into a buying position. That's a different topic for next week. If they're able to do that, there's not too much available. There's not a lot available. Gwynn and Chris coming up next, getting you ready for Padres baseball. For Frank Marchese, I'm Braden Surprenant. We'll talk to you guys maybe tomorrow. If not, we'll see you Friday.